Welcome in to another edition of Cut Ups. I'm your co-host, Darnell Porter. And we have my main man. You guys know him, the legend, Mr. Toski. He's gonna break down some film for us today. And before we get started, I already told Toski I was gonna come over here and have a little rant.
Rant away,
week,
man.
last week was pretty tough. So while I'm ranting, make sure y'all are going to blow up the Michigan chat, MBT chat, the Michigan community. Let everybody know we're live. As hard as it's going to be, we're going to get into this film and we're going to get through it. I saw somebody tweet out to me and Toski today that they're going to have to take some Tylenol, Advil. We were in agreement that we probably need to take the same thing. So go grab your medicine and get ready to sit down. Where to start is the question. Let me first say this. I want people to understand that I truly know, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Toski, I can speak for Trevor, Josh, anybody that's been critical of this team. Nobody wants to win the game more than the players want to win the game that's on the field. So before I get into any criticizing, I want to say that I understand that and understand that clearly. What I struggle with, and I watch the film because I do just like every other week. What I struggle with is in some of these plays we're going to go through tonight, it was lack of effort. And that's where I kind of get a little bit upset, right? It's not when you execute and it's not the right play. I'm not mad at those plays. I'm mad that when I'm looking at pure fundamentals not being done on the field, it kind of grind my gears. I think we have to do this week was a look in the mirror week, and we got a tough Washington opponent coming in, and so I hope the talk right now from all of the leaders is we had an accountability week. We're gonna see come Saturday, right? Because if they come out and play like they played against USC in the Coliseum, it's gonna be a long season for us, everybody. And it don't matter that we got a freshman quarterback because I saw Toski notes, so I'm not going to spoil it. I don't think Bryce is the problem. I feel like Bryce gets better every week. Does he have things he can improve on? Yes, he's a true freshman. But Bryce is the furthest away from the issues. That pick he threw furthest away from the issues. We got a lot of stuff to clean up front in the trenches. And I thought that this was a game that we should have dominated. And for us to only put up 14 points against a team that let lesser competition come in and score more points is alarming to me. And so I'm going to shut up my rant right now because I'm pretty sure I could talk you guys for 3-4 hours. I'm going to turn the floor over to Toski. He can have his rant. And then we're going to get into this film. And, Toski told you guys, we sometimes going to have great film sessions. Sometimes we're going to have bad. This is going to be one of the bad. So I turn it over to you to give the people the answers. We're looking for answers.
Yeah. I like your precursor of no one wants to win more than the players. Second most is probably the coaches, right? So anything we say pales in comparison to what they're probably feeling in the locker room. Don't take this as an excuse to go tweet at people. They already know. They already know what they're doing. I have some stats to throw out, though. So mainly from the defensive side here, because to your point, I think offense in the film review, I had a lot of frustrations, but I was more frustrated of they were one block away, one cut away, a little bit more accurate of a throw away from making this into a game. 13 points, not acceptable. The issues I saw were correctable, and I see a path for them to be a better offense than what we saw against USC. Defense, I am struggling to find the word. Incensed is probably the word. All right, so PFF, here's a couple stats for you. PFF had on 33 dropbacks, 21 of those Michigan blitzed. 5 of those were resulting in pressure. So you're saying blitz 21 of those 33 dropbacks, only a handful actually got pressure. that shouldn't be a surprise. USC's whole game plan, if you watch them throughout the year, get out quick passes. That's their game plan. They don't really look to throw deep in the way that like OSU does or some other teams. They're looking to get their guys out in space and throw quick hitters, first, second read. They had 11 screens. They went for 8.5 yards per pop, which is just unacceptable. After the first few, you have to make adjustments here. And that's the lack of adjustments. We'll get to that time and time again. You see going into the fourth quarter, these are the same plays. Same plays USC ran. There's little to no adjustment here. Seems like Michigan didn't have a counterpunch. And that's all that there is to coordinating a defense is throw out a counterpunch and have a counterpunch to the offense's response to that first punch. So final statistic here from Bill Rajewski. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He runs collegefootballdata.com. He's a good follow on Twitter. He had this game for USC's offense, 66% offensive success rate on standard down, 66%. And he mentioned in his tweet that is usually what you see against like a MAC team or an FCS team. So that's the level of defense that Michigan displayed, an FCS level or low FBS level defense. That is not acceptable. I'm usually one to call for, heads to roll after a given game, but it's an inexcusable performance from the defense. We'll get to the film here. Let me throw it on the screen. But as we get through this film, the thing that's going to stand out is I don't feel that people were put in positions to be successful. And that's your job as a coach. Put your players in a position to be successful. I don't think the personnel was appropriate. I don't think the running the 5-2 defense consistently against the spread out 12 personnel that USC was rolling out, I don't think that was appropriate. So many things here that we're going to get to, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It looked like they prepared for a different team. It looks like they just did not know what USC was going to do. And, give some credit to USC. This was a good offense, but it's okay to be beat by better players if you have those counter punches. But there was, to Circuit City's secret shopper in here, there was no resistance. This was the game plan from USC. They probably had, plan B and plan C based
never had to get to it.
And responded. They didn't have to get to plan B or plan C.
Nope.
Never had to get there.
Nope. So I talked to someone who was in the stadium, right?
Yeah.
And this person also was I was actually supposed to go, but I ended up not going. This person was with me in Oklahoma, and he said this felt like a more souped up Oklahoma game where they kind of was giving us the game. It was like, hey, you take it. And Michigan was like, no, you take it. And you win. There was no urgency. There was no juice behind it. I think you said something that hit the nail on the coffin. I remember back when we played Ohio State in the shoe. That must have been Jim Knowles' first year, right? I remember hearing this. I got a story time from somebody who's on the staff, and it was like, hey, we had a counter to anything that Jim Knowles was going to put out there, but we was doing our base stuff so well that they couldn't stop it, that we never had to counter it. They stayed in their defense, and so we never had to counter it. So we got to keep that in our back pocket. And it feels exactly what you said. Our defense, Wink just said, you know what? I'm going to keep blitzing you until I get home. And it was like, okay, we're going to keep doing our regular game plan. And if you give somebody 8-7 yards of free release off the line, they're just going to dink and dump. They're never going to let your pass rush get there. You never force them to get into a point where your pass rush could have a chance.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start there. I mean, there's a lot more defense than offense. It's still probably about 50-50, might be 60-40 on defense, but I could have clipped so much more on defense, but let's just get it rolling here right away. Here we go. Starting with the screen pass. And I mean, these just looked like free yards to me, right? You're bringing 5 on a pass rush because of the motion that you had. Let me shift to the other view after I hit this view here. Because of the motion, you're clearing out another player for Michigan. You can see middle of your screen, because the running back is in motion at the top of your screen here. That's going to take Ernest Hausman out here. And look at just how free the middle of the field is here. You got one safety. You're doing too high. Michigan likes to run too high in this game a lot. But look at how free that is, especially with everyone rolling out here. The first motion out here is continuing to go this way with the running back. And all you need is a little stutter, and then boom. And you have a block here. And then you're just releasing a flurry of linemen up all the way to the safety. There is no resistance here. So right away, if you see this, you're like, uh-oh, how we're playing this, right? How, if we're moving out our linebacker on this running back, we need to have a counterpunch to this. We need to not be rushing 5 as much. We need to be doing something, right? It's okay to get got, like, on a first play. But this is where I immediately was like, wow, there are guys running downfield. These linemen, they have too many linemen at this point, right? They have too many guys compared to the Michigan defenders. It's lucky that this play got held up as like where it did. When you have 2 linemen get down to the safety level, that's where it's like, okay, that was not a good schematic setup. So alarm bells should start going off if you're a defense coordinator of, oh, they planned for how we're going to motion out with this running back headed kind of on this little flare action. So just kind of like an initial, that looked like a really easy 15 yards there. It's moving into your midfield already off of, that one play. Little play action right up the seam. Again, way too easy. That was my initial reaction here. That is way too easy. Another thing, I'll go back to the start of this. Michigan was not set here. And there were 3 or 4 plays I recognized where just look at the players at the time of the snap. Ball is snapped right now. Look at all of Michigan's defenders here. They're still talking. They're not ready to play right now. They're still talking. He's putting in his mouth guard. They're not ready. His hands are out. He doesn't know, where do I go? Right? Like, they are not in a stance at all. They're starting to run a play. So this is just not ready from a defensive standpoint. And how many games have we seen thus far? Michigan defers the second half and gives up a touchdown immediately. Feels like it's been every single game.
It's like
every single game. So it's just frustrating to not see any sort of growth. That's the other thing. From game to game, you should see growth. You should see preparedness. You should see these guys be able to learn and improve week over week. This seems like a regression to me. So that's the first thing. You got to get set. And then play action, right? So already, because you're not set, good luck. You're setting 5. This is, a lackluster pass rush at best. This is the cleanest pocket I've seen. And then you have nothing, no sort of defense over the seam here. Just nothing at all. So it looks like this has to be some sort of cover 3 look because you have, I think it's Jair Hill. He's getting deep third. You're getting deep. So that's right there. And then you're headed to the flat here in case, anything is sitting here in the flat. So you're running to the flat. And then these guys are initially held up because of the play action that's happening here. But what that leaves open is this seam. And these guys just need to get out there more quickly. As soon as you realize, hey, this is play action, you need to turn and get back into your curl zone here. This is where this guy is running to, kind of that seam curl area. And they're just standing there. As soon as they recognize, hey, this ball is not at the running back, they're not getting any depth. They're getting depth way too late. And just look at how close they are at the time of this pass. These 2 guys are covering grass, number 1, and they're on top of each other. So 0 for 2 there. And it's just way, way, way too open there. Like, that is just way too much grass. So again, you look at this, if you're Michigan and you're saying, hey, we're vulnerable up the seams, we need to address this. We need to figure out what we're doing to that. So I get Hausman staying home a little bit longer than he should here, right? He sees a guard. It's a little bit harder for him to see here. Like, you got a guard coming across your face here. You would be ostensibly the play side linebacker here, right, on this fake. If you're older, as soon as you see, hey, his eyes are going downfield, right? He's reading something. He is dropping back. You need to get back because you need to trust that your other linebacker will cover this area. You need to vacate and get back to the vulnerable area. And he never does. He's super late getting back to that. And then he's just like, I think to your effort, like, you need to get back there. You can't jog. You need to be sprinting back there. And it just looks like he's kind of lollygagging back there. No urgency there. So that's just unacceptable, man. Like, I don't even know if it's covered 3 though. Because go back to the wide. Yeah. Because it seems like that. Pause it. It seems like here, the corner and the safety, if it is covered 3, it seems like is that Hill on it? Is that number 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jair Hill.
Yeah, he should be deeper because the flat is up here inside the 50. This guy's playing an underneath hook to curl route, which makes no sense. He either takes the guy, he either needs to take the free release there, and that's his man. Because that makes more sense to me, is that this corner didn't know the coverage. And it goes back to you saying not being set before the snap, right? Because Jimmy Roller and Hausman are playing the middle of the field like they're playing short zone curls. It seems like this corner, the slot corner, didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, you never want to see 2 guys end up that close in the secondary, right?
Yeah, don't make any sense.
Right here, that doesn't make sense, really. So you're right. It seems like he would be, if he's responsible for the flat, that would be up here. The only thing is, maybe he's recognizing here that, like, instead of taking it down to this area, he's extending that over here. But again, I'm not sure. It does just seem like a bust, because as soon as you have 2 defensive backs on top of each other like that, it doesn't make sense. So you're probably right. The only thing that makes me think it's possibly like cover 3 is because he's just getting depth, right? Like he's getting depth, and it's not like it's quarters or something, right? It might be if he, like, maybe it's supposed to be quarters, right? Like you're supposed to drop 2 deep here over like cover 2 man sort of deal, right? Where you have man coverage, and then cover 2 between the 2 safeties. But he doesn't seem like I would expect him to be going more towards the hashes if he's expecting another safety to kind of cover this hash. But I think you're right. It's probably a bust given the how no one's set here. They're not really sure. Probably just a miss. And yeah, I mean, it cost him huge, right? These 2 plays.
You're right. Just him coming down in the box like that, I don't think he was playing out. He started from almost to the safety position. He was almost parallel with Hillman.
Yeah, he was.
And then he came down. I just don't think he knew the play.
Yeah, probably didn't. Okay, so 2nd and 4, we're later on in this drive. They're approaching the red zone. Just no discipline on your edge players. First of all, personnel-wise, we've seen Wink Martindale swap out the defensive line so early. I get keeping people fresh, but I don't know why on the first drive you have Etta. Troy Williams is rotating a little bit, but why don't you have your starting D end? Why don't you have Derek Moore out here? Why don't you have Trey Pierce out here? Why don't you have your standout players?
Where's Benny at?
Where's Rayshawn Benny at? Instead, you have Cam Brandt, Dominic Nichols, you have Etta, and you have Trey Williams. And no offense to these guys, but some of these guys are in the 3 deep. It's just not their time yet. And so it doesn't make sense while they're driving.
You're right, and the backup linebacker. You're right.
Why you have this? I'm less I'm less critical of linebackers because I think Rolder and Sullivan are starter qualities at least. So I'm less incensed about those guys, but I don't know why I have Dominic Nichols here, especially instead of like a Derek Moore. So the issue I have with this is this play is putting quite a bit of conflict on Dominic Nichols. What I mean by that is you're sending this guy across, you're having this action with the play action right here, and you're threatening the quarterback coming out this way, and you could deliver, this route here to the flat. That's the concern. So that's why you're holding up if you're Dominic Nichols and not going down the line of scrimmage here. The issue, I think, is twofold. One, he's getting too far upfield, and the other angle, the wide angle, will show this. He's getting too far upfield for this. Look where he ends up. He's in no place here to close this gap. This gap between him and the edge-most offensive lineman here, that creates way too big of a gap for him to get back on when he realizes, oh, crap, the running back has the ball. Because that's the gap essentially that he goes down. So I get that he's in conflict, but what have we always said when you're unblocked as a defensive end here? Even if you're in conflict, getting upfield isn't going to help you much. Constrict down, keep your hips pointed forward, and have your momentum in a place where you can react. But by getting this far upfield, now you're creating this big of a gap here that I pointed out earlier. Instead, just come down the line. Come down the line, trust that your defensive backs and linebackers here are able to handle the threat out here. You're not going to be able to cover that. That's not your job. You need to split the difference between you and the quarterback. And he commits way too much towards the quarterback here by getting that far upfield. He's going the wrong way. He's going vertical when, in this sense, he should be going horizontal. So it just leaves way too much of a gap. He's trying to do the job here of too many people because you have your linebacker coming out here. Again, I get it. If the quarterback is keeping this, you want to address that, right? You want to cut that off, but you can cut that off by being right here instead. And then just go down the line of scrimmage, right? Just go down the line of scrimmage. Your linebacker will cover number one, headed out towards the flat. And then you can book like hell down the line of scrimmage to cut off any sort of quarterback run or keep after that. So he's just trying to do too much, not doing his job. And then on top of that, because you have your backup in at defensive tackle, Etta is getting blown off the line. This double team is taking him all the way back to Ann Arbor, apparently. He just gets moved off way too much. And now you just have a cavern of a hole for the running back. So that's twofold. I mean, good job coming down from I think that's Metcalf, your safety here coming down. But that's just not that's the Jared Mangum coming down, making that tackle. I think, right? Number 7. Yeah. So, I mean, good play from him. But, yeah, I don't know the personnel. I don't like the technique from your defensive end. Etta is just getting dominated by the offensive line. And just not a good look here. Not a good look. I'm already tired, man. It's like what? This is the first drive. Oh, that is Metcalf. Okay, my bad. Okay. All right, and here's the conflict, right? This was the conflict I mentioned earlier of the same sort of action, same sort of split action right here. And TJ Guy is in. That's a name I didn't even mention that you could have had in here. TJ Guy. Now, I still think that TJ Guy takes this way too far, right? His job, TJ Guy's job, shouldn't be to follow this all the way down here. He just needs to cover this backside, right? Don't follow this all the way. Your job is just constrict. Trust the rest of your defensive line and linebackers and safety to cover if anything is going here. So him continuing to shuffle in the backfield, this isn't doing anything, right? You need to be here to at least threaten the quarterback. So just constrict, and then you can react and run down the line of scrimmage. So again, just overplaying it. He's overcompensating for the last play here. And then Jimmy Rolder is, again, what is Jimmy Rolder doing here? He needs his responsibility is, as we saw in the last play, follow this guy out, right? Your responsibility, if this is a handoff here, your responsibility on the handoff, you're not your backside. At that point, then you can come, in case there's a backside cut here, you can address that. Your initial role is to cover this guy flying across the line of scrimmage. That's your goal. That's your primary goal. Trust your other teammates that they're going to be able to address anything else that's happening or for the quarterback. There's nothing that should keep you in this place initially. You're not respecting your job, and now he's taking himself out of the play. He's out of the play, 5 yards behind it. So there's another successful play because guys just aren't doing their jobs. That's like a thing I'm going to say a million times tonight. I'm going to get tired of it. But Rolder's job here is to get out here in response to number one. Yes, there's other shit that's going to be happening here. That is not your job. Ignore everything else for now and get out here. If you want to do a quick eye check while you're getting out here to then get back, for a backside cut or something, that's fine. But that's not your initial job. Your eyes are in the backfield and your feet are not moving for far too long to have any sort of response to that. And it's a terrible angle too. Terrible angle. Like, why are you going upfield like this way? This play is going out here. You need to be going straight down the line of scrimmage. Again, your job is not the quarterback. You need to trust that your defensive end will be able to help on that. So it's guys just not trusting each other, taking bad angles. They seem hesitant. It seems like they don't know what to do. And this is like just the worst set of attributes I just described there for an effective defense. There's nothing more to say than that. So these are just free yards because of the lack of discipline from this defense. Now here, I mentioned it on Twitter. I'll say it again. Yes, I think the refs were bad, straight up. I think they had a couple missed calls I'll call out that they missed that benefited Michigan. I think the majority of plays went against Michigan or benefited USC. Regardless, wouldn't have made a difference in this game because how poorly Michigan played. All right, but still something to consider. Now on this play, I don't really fault Jair Hill here. Number 8, right now I'll call this 50-50. I mean, he does put his hands on it first right here. So right here, I wouldn't call a flag. Wouldn't call a flag on this. But at the end of this right here, he is grabbing and shoving him off. Okay? That's pass interference right there. You can't just disengage like that, throw a guy off, and then not expect a flag there. So I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know. Like, in reality, it's this guy. His eyes are on it the whole time. His eyes are coming over late. So I don't know if his eyes are expected to be over here, but this guy's eyes are here all day. If you watch the entire play, that's where he's looking the whole time. He just straight up misses it. So I don't know. I do need to go back in the rule book and look at, within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage or whatever bullshit. But, you can't just throw a guy off you like that after blocking. Like, he establishes the contact and then throws him off. Like, the broadcast did say it. I don't, broadcast people, I don't even know. Like, I don't trust all these rule analysts in general.
No, it's 100% PI.
But that's
because we got called. We got the same call called on us later in the game.
Oh yeah,
so it's 100% OPI.
Yeah, we'll look at that later. Just really bad officiating overall in this game. Okay, so now you're down 7-0. I'm only covering one play here on offense. This first drive was featured 0 runs. I think there was a couple of flare passes. This was a 3rd and 8 attempted little flare pass here to Justice Haynes here, and just too far out in front of him. This is something where it seems like a little bit of a bubbling of this sort of route. It looks like you have sort of this path for Justice Haynes where Bryce Underwood was expecting more of a direct line like this. So just it seems like a miscommunication or just not an understanding of that initial route that he's going to run. And when it's too far in front of him like that, you're not going to be able to catch that. Now, would this play have been successful had it been completed? I think so, but I still think it was probably a wrong decision from Hogan Hansen here on the outside, your eyes in general should be taking you inside out if you're blocking. Obviously, you're going to be blocking here. Inside out if you're Hogan Hansen. And this guy, 23 for USC, he's all over the place, by the way. He had a really good game for USC. But you need to recognize the reaction of the defense while your eyes are going inside out. If you see a guy flying right here, this is your biggest threat. This is your biggest threat on this. So you need to identify that and get out and block him. Yes, this guy would then obviously be a threat, but the thing you have to consider is how much space between the guy that I'm choosing to block versus the guy that he needs to make miss. I like this battle for Justice Haynes with this much space. He can make this guy miss. And then you have 2 additional blocks that Justice Haynes can play with, right? You can cut off of one of these guys, make this guy wrong. There's a lot of things you can do here. So anyway, Hogan Hansen obviously has been in and out because of injury, but I think he misidentified. You can see his eyes shift. He's thinking, which one do I go to? Which one do I go to? I think you chose wrong. Obviously, incomplete, doesn't matter. But little things like that you got to clean up. So yeah, I mean, that's a brutal way after your defense just got walked down to the end zone, and then you have a 3 and out. You never hand the ball off once. It's just really sets Michigan off poorly. And I feel like this is, again, a common theme, both on offense and defense. Defense gives up a touchdown, a quick 3 and out for the offense, and now you're back onto the defensive side of the ball. And did not instill a lot of confidence in me. And that defense has to be gassed already. So I get like wanting to rotate and keep guys fresh and things like that. You don't really give yourself an opportunity to rest at all when your offense is doing 3 and out here. There was a question about if the guard should be able to reach out to that linebacker. That's a good call out, Mr. Martini. It looks like that was the play design. It looks like El Hadi is supposed to be getting out there. It just seems like he's quicker, right? Like, I don't think it's, again, putting your players in a position to be successful. That seems like a reach, right? I don't know many guards that can beat a linebacker out there if he's getting out here that quickly. So, maybe give 23 some credit for getting out there that quickly, but you also have to adjust, right? You have to adjust out here. And his eyes looking over here is another aspect of, not every play, even though it's designed for him to get out here and designed for your guard to get out and block here, play's not always going to pan out exactly how it's designed. So it's a good call out that was the design, but sometimes you got to adjust on the fly there.
What's confusing is this team has been known to run the ball, right?
Yeah.
And you start a series off where you go and I'm all for breaking tendencies. I'm all for that. But it's no way after your defense has been on the field for 5-6 minutes do you open it up and go pass and throw your. I immediately was like, this is a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
We go not only not run the ball, attempt to run the ball, but we gonna put our defense back out there. Maybe they got about a minute and a half of rest, if that.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, barely. And I mean, I do get it. Like, this is essentially like you're trying to. It's kind of a run play. They're trying to, right? But USC has given up a fair amount of run yardage, and so it doesn't make sense to just go pass. Like, what's your identity? What are you trying to establish here? Don't you think you can be successful there? So, yeah, I just don't know the calculus that went into game planning. Where, hey, on the initial drive, we're doing this.
But you played a number one defense last year rushing, and you was like, "Oh, we're gonna run the ball."
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, buddy.
Now you punt, you're back on defense. Little hard count, and again, you're sending pressure here, and this is the most frustrating thing when you're sending pressure. I'm gonna give you a pop quiz, Darnell. I promise I didn't even set him up for this. what should you do if you're on offense and you recognize a blitz? What should you do if you're passing the ball?
Oh, you 100% throw where the blitz is coming. Where they
There you
vacating.
go. There you go. You throw where the blitz is coming. That's exactly what happens here. What are you doing if you are Ernest Hausman here? You know where the blitz is coming from or where the pressure is on this. Now, maybe you don't call this specifically a blitz, but based on the alignment here, he's unblocked, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to recognize that. Take stock of where your guy is going to be getting pressured from, right? Take a look at that. Recognize that. Maybe I'm asking too much of that, but also do a quick scan. Do a quick scan. As soon as you see that this running back is ducking out, this guy's ducking out, right? Do a quick scan. Where is anyone possibly going to be coming back into the area that I am guarding? And then also look at the eyes. As soon as you see the eyes dart over here, you need to be shuffling, not just little steps that he's taking here. You need to adjust to that. So even if you don't recognize, hey, there's a guy coming over into my zone, start adjusting your body based on those eyes. And he's just far too slow. You can see a little false step here as well. Only now does his head turn over, and that's far too late. And then when he does get there, you should be punishing him. This is a potential hospital ball, right? If you are more efficient, if you're more efficient in your footwork, in your technique, not efficient. And now this guy creates a couple missed tackles. So, I mean, that's not acceptable to me. And
yeah, I'm not sure, Brian. I don't think so because I don't think USC's quarterback. It's not that he can't run; it's that he's not known to be a known runner. So, even if he is spying the quarterback, even if that's the argument that you guys want to make, he has to identify this quarterback is not running when he's staring this receiver down. He's already committed to throwing the ball. So at that point, you're like, okay, who is he throwing it to?
Yes. And it's another thing where it's like you had Jayshon Barham, right? You're showing 4 here. You're showing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're bringing down another one, right? I think. Well, that's Hausman. Sorry, you're bringing Rolder down. Yeah, sorry, wrong guy. So you should know where you are bringing your pressure, right? You're rushing these 4 and you're dropping this guy back. So in terms of your responsibilities in pass coverage, you know that this side you have Jayshon Barham covering that. So you can cheat a little bit here. You can cheat and say, hey, I'm going to come back over here because I have a guy that I know is dropping back over here. So to me, this is just a lack of consideration about what your teammates are doing as well. Like shade over there. This is doing like the reaction of the offensive line is doing what you want based on this alignment. Based on this alignment, USC is going, all right, we got to shift over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They're accounting for Jayshon Barham coming. Because he doesn't, guess what? You got a free rusher here. That's the design of this defense. That's what Michigan wants. And because that's what Michigan wants, they want to get this guy free. You need to adjust for that. You need to know that I have help here and that I can cheat over here to replace the area where the free pressure is coming from. Because as you mentioned, Darnell, when I gave you the pop quiz, he's going to recognize pressure. That's where you're looking to throw the ball because wherever it's free, right, that gives you a sense I should throw towards that. And if he recognizes, hey, I can replace that, I can cheat over here, you probably don't get a pick because of how quick the ball gets out, but you at least deliver a hit to that guy. And they're going to be that much like that wide receiver is going to keep that in mind because that's not a tight end.
They got to have alligator hands. And here's the other thing. Just pause it right here. This is how right here. This is how I know Hausman is not locked in on the coverage. and I get what y'all are saying by spying. The reason why I don't think the spying makes all the sense is because your corner out here to the far on the 30 is playing the flats. He's playing the running back coming out the backfield. He's already identified that's my man. Hausman has to protect everything that's coming across the middle, and he knows that the hot route is the slant because they're going to throw. I have to key in and know that if we bring a blitz, that quarterback clock is sped up. He's going to throw where the man is coming in the blitz, and that's exactly what he did. He waited to roll to vacate it, and he threw it. And then Hausman, if you are going to wait, at least make the tackle.
Yes. Yep. So it's not a confident defense. It's not a sound fundamentals defense. I don't know what to call this defense besides not great right now.
And honestly, I'm so confused because they were not playing like this at the end of the season.
Yeah.
It's almost like what we looked at last year. We didn't have the all 22. We didn't have you breaking this down for us. But you remember the biggest argument we was arguing 6-7 games into the season? What is Wink doing? And then Wink had to come out and was like, well, I had to dumb it down a little bit because it was too complicated. And then at the end of the year, the defense started playing expired. But I don't understand how we go back to that.
It's stubbornness.
6. Yeah,
it's stubbornness.
Right back where it was.
It's the assumption that, well, now that we've had more time in my system, the players have had more time, they're going to learn more, they're going to absorb more. And it's just that's not necessarily how it works. And if you want to be teaching a complex scheme, like I don't think it was easy for Jesse Minter or Mike McDonald to teach their schemes, but they were probably damn good at teaching it. And I don't get that sense that these players are confident because those defenses played confident, even though they were able to do a lot of different things. They were taught well. I don't think these guys are being taught well. And if you're not taught well, then it benefits you to be to simplify it as they did at the end of last year. You pay dividends. The issue this year, you don't have 2 first-round defensive tackles to help you out there. You don't have a what should have been a first-round cornerback either. So I like a lot of the personnel, but because you don't have some first round monsters on the defensive line, you're going to get exposed. You just are. You don't have that same level of talent. You have a lot of young guys, a lot of good talent. You don't have elite talent that covers up some of your deficiencies from a schematic point of view.
Yep.
Okay. 4th and 1. And man, this is a killer. This is where I was like, I don't know if you've played NCAA football, but sometimes you'll start playing a game and you're just like, okay, like this game just isn't going to go the way I want it to go. And this is the part of the game where I'm just like, you had everything you wanted here and just could not tackle the guy. 4th and 1. And this is what you give up. 7 missed tackles. It was unbelievable watching this play. So let me back up. First thing that stands out here, there's a lot of confusion going on. A lot of confusion, people not knowing where things are going. And the alignment makes zero sense to me. Why are you stacking these linebackers? That can't be what you want. Let me go to the end zone view, actually, because this is a little bit better. So I don't know why you have 2 linebackers here. And then look at just where everyone is going. You're essentially sending 2 linebackers here into the same gap. You're sending your number 7 here into the same gap. You got 3 guys going down to the same gap here. That there's no way this is how it's supposed to be defended. It looks like guys are playing like just backyard football right now. It's just not how it's supposed to be played here. And then on top of that, again, I don't know how this is supposed to be played, but you have multiple guys on the play side taking the same gap. What I mean by that, you have Trey Pierce here. You have both Hillman and Jay Shambaram taking the inside here. So both of these guys are right here. They should make the play, even though Barham and Hillman come down in this gap. They should have this play, right? Doing a good enough job up front here where this running back gets the ball. He should be dead on arrival, right? But all Hillman needs to do here is, again, break down. Hillman, time over time, love the ferocity that he plays with, but at a certain point, you're a safety. Play safe. Like, break down. And that goes for Barham as well. Now, Barham is still getting blocked, right? So give him a little bit of leeway here, but you got to break down. You can't play out of control. When you play out of control, this is what happens. And then it's just poor angles from here. It's just poor angles, poor tackling, not able to get there. Like, just really poor fundamentals here. Like, just, I've never seen an offense be able to shed tackles like this. And it's one thing to be outplayed because of like a talent perspective. It's another thing just for technique. And this is probably the play that bothers me the most. Right here, all you need to do is break down. All you need to do is break down. And you win. You win. You have bodies in every gap here. You win if you break this down, if you're Hillman. And he just doesn't. Just doesn't. And then you get bit because you weren't gap sound. Know your job if you're Jayshon Barham here. Your job is not to duck inside. That's the job of your safety. Trust that. Take on the block here. Keep your outside arm free and constrict down the line of scrimmage. Nothing is outside of you. You are the edgemost defender here. Nothing gets outside of you. So he tries to make a play, and that's what too many guys are doing. They're trying to make the play. And if you're trying to make the play instead of doing your job, this is what happens. Unacceptable. You just cannot have that. Cannot have that. Yeah, go ahead.
If I had a booster that gave me $1 million for every missed Hillman tackle in the backfield on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 5, 4th and 5, I'd be a probably double-digit millionaire. I mean, yep. This is crazy to me. And I remember watching this live, and I'm like, bro, do you realize? I don't remember where this is in the game, but I still believe it's 7-0.
Yeah.
If you turn them over at their own 35, the game is probably 7-7.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a huge momentum shifter. Huge.
And this was their coach trying to get across to them. Hey, I believe in you guys. What way to make him feel second guessing down the line in the game if you just make a tackle? He tries to go for so many big hits and misses so many tackles. Just be fundamental and wrap up.
There's a time for a big hit. There's a time for a big hit. This is not it. And being a good player is knowing what the situation calls for. What the situation calls for here, just grab his legs. Break down. Again, just break down. You have everything you need here. Just trying to make the play too much.
It's really selfishness. And I hate to call somebody out like that. Because like I said at the beginning of this, nobody wants to win more than the coaches and the athletes. But if you do it once or twice, I can chalk it up as an aggressive player just trying to make a play. I'll chalk that up.
Yeah.
But when I see it on film over and over and over again, it's flat out selfishness because you want to make a highlight hit. How about make a highlight turnover on downs? How about that?
Yeah. And early on in the season, when there was a play like that, I said, I love the ferocity. I love it. I'd rather take a guy with ferocity and get that under control than try to teach the ferocity. I'd rather do that. At a certain point, you need to be influencing that player's behavior. If that's his trait, it is your job as a coach to drill it to be a more responsible player and then harness that ferocity when it calls for it. And the fact that we've seen zero development in that regard, if anything, a regression, seems like it's coming out more. Leads me to believe they're not doing a good self-scout here. They're not recognizing, hey, we need to address this shortcoming of this player. And at the way I look at that you're failing the player. You're failing the player. So it goes both ways. It really does. Okay, 2nd and 3, you're driving here if you're USC. You got the 4th down here. And this one, I don't have much to say outside of just the easiest yards that you'll ever get. I don't understand this coverage. And the end zone view doesn't show. The wide view shows what you need. Why? Just let's pause right here. Why is there this much of a gap? What are you doing?
Man.
All you need to you can just throw the ball right here. Free yards. Just free yards right there. Free yards all day. I mean, this is the guy responsible for this, and it's just a sit route. You could throw to either one of these guys. To have that much space here, I have no idea what the plan is here. I truly don't know. Truly don't know. I don't know what it's called. I mean, it seems like this is man coverage. Seems like these guys are manned up here. On the backside, you're playing more like one deep, and then you're maybe man coverage over the top. It seems like you have something going on here. Maybe he's taking the tight end. I'm not sure. But you have two different stories of coverage based on the top of the screen and bottom of the screen. But what are you doing here? And I mean, to a broader point, like, I don't understand.
Wait. Hold on. Pause it.
Paused.
Wait, go back to the beginning of the formation. Are we short one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I was trying to give them benefit of doubt and said it was playing with 10, but my bad.
No. I don't understand. I mean, this is probably another just busted coverage. Probably just a busted coverage, because just watch what the linebackers are doing. It doesn't make any sense why both linebackers, like, they're on top of the same tight end. Seems like they were expecting expecting something up the seam, and that's what they're overplaying here. Seems like this guy's headed to the flat. Seems like this guy's sort of in the seam for anything that's coming up here. Dominic Nichols is on the tight end. This tight end could have gotten a huge play too. Watch just the tight end. After he shucks Dominic Nichols, he could have had a huge play. 85 right there. There's no one here. So I just don't know what the hell is going on. And I'll say this. I'll caveat this. I don't know all of my coverages. I don't know the best terminology here. All I know is this doesn't make any sense to me, where you just have a little like option route or
Texas route.
Texas route. That's it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 85, that could go the distance. And then you have at least 5 yards, like 7, 8 yards between your man defenders here and these wide receivers. That doesn't make any sense. It's Brian Block. It's like the nickel is just missing. It's like four players are missing. Like
that's why I had you pause it at the beginning, because I was like, wait, maybe we're playing 10 on 11. But yeah, no, it's 10. It's just 11 guys there.
It makes no sense. And the only thing that I can like really think of is this formation for USC. Maybe it just threw them off, right? They see two tight ends over here, and these guys just were completely thrown off by that. And obviously these guys, maybe Hillman thought he had a linebacker underneath, and that's why he didn't come up as quickly, because I don't know why else you would play with that much cushion. Doesn't make any sense. So it's the most infuriating thing, and it has me terrified for Ohio State. Like
Ohio State. It has me terrified for Washington.
You're right.
Bro,
I shouldn't even.
You're gonna give Washington receivers this type of cushion? Oh, they're gonna have a field day. That quarterback is good at Washington. I want everybody to understand. Right. And that quarterback actually can run. So you're gonna have to put a spy on him. So yeah I'm not. Ohio, as the man say, playoffs. Ohio State. I'm just trying to get there.
I'm just trying to win a game. To your question, Circuit City here, did USC do a lot different schematic wise than previous games? You might be better to answer this, Darnell. I didn't think so.
No,
I didn't see all that much different from
not on offense and defense. I mean, USC struggles to run the ball. I mean, they didn't struggle to run it against us, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get into that. But they struggle to run the ball, so they run a lot of quick game. They understood that we have a fearsome front four. Well, we did. And they were prepared for when Wink. The book is out on Wink. You guys have to understand, people are treating Wink, for my older Michigan fans that's been around, when they see Wink, they see Don Brown, right? The book was out on Don Brown after a year and a half. They like, this guy loves to blitz, so we'll let him blitz, and we'll just go with quick game so he can't get his people there, and we just will throw crossing routes where they're blitzing because that's where the vacated is. And they don't have the athletes on the back end to check our athletes when they're crossing across the field. USC, Lincoln Riley said, okay, you want to blitz us? Cool. We fell into your trap last year when you beat us and you couldn't throw the ball. This year, it's the same stuff. So we just gonna throw where you're not there.
Yep.
And we're gonna go with some tempo because we know that you can't communicate. Yes, Dr. Blitz 2.0, correct.
All right. We're moving into inside the 30 here. Guess what? Another screen. Huge pickup. And I mean, you're lucky here that J.R. Hill puts a lick on the guy.
Yep.
But this was another fortunate play. And again, not just because the result was positive doesn't mean the play overall was positive. We'll give him his flowers at the end of this. But I don't understand the footwork here out of Cole Sullivan. So he's got his eyes in the right place. You're in a little stun here on the defensive line, right? You're rushing 4. That's fine. You're keeping 5 in for USC. You're not going to get pressure. So we don't need to really pay attention to that. Excuse me. But watch the footwork of Cole Sullivan. Why are you moving outside here? It's an overreaction to that first step, and he's late. I don't know why he's coming up field here. He's taking himself out of the play here. So, I mean, valiant effort trying to make the tackle here, but he positioned himself poorly here. And I think he's slow in getting in his response here. As soon as you see him like breaking out, and you have to, out of the corner of your eye, see that there are offensive linemen releasing, you need to be heading down quickly. What have they shown to do all day with like a wide receiver like this? They've run this tunnel screen action at least a couple times by now. So you have to recognize that and get down there. But then it's another case of you're not setting this player up for success either, because you're releasing 3 offensive linemen down to block him. Even like he would have to make a really good play and have really, really good reaction time to make a play on that. So while I don't like the footwork and how he responds to this action, you're not putting him in a great spot. You have 2 linemen downfield. They don't know what to do. Michigan just schematically is in an insanely disadvantaged position as they were at the start of this game. So again, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't really like how much Cole Sullivan moves out here. I don't think he had to, right? You should at least stay a little bit to the inside here, and then you can react a little bit better. Instead, he gets to the outside here, and he's not able to match the momentum of this tight end quick enough to deal with these linemen coming out and blocking him. That's pretty much it.
My issue with this is usually when I see, as a good friend of mine's, some of his terminology, usually when I see a player or players take the cheese, it's usually some type of communication on the back end, like, hey, like, our linemen are playing so aggressively up the field that they're not even identifying and triggering that these linemen are not trying to block them.
Right.
Like Benny and Derek Moore, they didn't even have to do anything to them. They just pushed Derek. The guard pushed Derek Moore. He didn't touch Derek Moore. You're like, oh, just go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
That should be a trigger in his head. And then I guess my other question is, now that you've shown this view right here, what is Hillman doing? Yeah, it's like he gets turned around.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going. Why are you backing up? And then why are you turning your head away and ducking out that way? That doesn't make any sense. That's not good technique. What are you doing? Open your hips. Keep your eyes towards the line of scrimmage. There's no reason, unless it's like an emergency, right? Where you need to turn like that. Bad technique. It makes him that late. Look how late he is getting over to this. Again, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense that is your technique as Hillman. Yeah, man. So, I mean, all right, at the end of the play, right, Wade to keep tracking and Wade to just lay an absolute hit on tight end there. Saved the early game. This was looking at 14-0. It's like, oh, crap. I don't know how we're getting to that. So that is a great play. So give him a lot of credit. Jerry Hill comes over and makes an absolute lick on this guy. Boom. That's a hit stick. So great job. I'll give him credit. Comes in with some authority. That's what I like to see out of a cornerback. Huge. Boom. But again, just because it's a good play, and I want to give him a lot of credit for that play, doesn't instill a lot of confidence. The result doesn't alleviate the concern, right?
Yes, he's looking at this your average friend and he's licking his chops. You're like, oh, if they're gonna be this undisciplined in screens with those athletes that they got at Washington, that wide receiver, I think his last name is Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna have a field day.
Yep.
The only thing you got as a saving grace is apparently Saturday in Ann Arbor is supposed to rain.
And so good.
It's gonna be a little harder. It's going to be a little harder to throw the ball.
I'm going to that game, so that'll be fun. That'll be a good time. Just me in the rain, just being mad. That's going to be me. They are installing some like cell towers, like better cell coverage in there. So you'll see me just whining on Twitter about it. All right. So
I have a tailgate in Baton Rouge this weekend, so I will be at the tailgate following you guys. So
there you go.
Keep me posted.
I'll just be sad tweeting in the rain. All right. We finally got some offense. All right. Got some offense clips here. Little play action here. Man, what a guy that Andrew Marsh is developing into. I think he's wide receiver 1. I'll say it. I think he's already there. It would just take some time. He's a physical specimen, and he's showing a little bit of wiggle after the catch here. I mean, not like crazy wiggle, not Samaj Morgan wiggle, but really like this play. They're putting him in motion. This was something like I feel like this was Samaj Morgan before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's taking some of that role from Samaj Morgan because he's got a better handle of the playbook. He's got better hands downfield. He's taking some of those snaps. So I like the little split action look. You're pulling 2 guys across the formation here, and then you're sending Andrew Marsh across this. You're doing a little fake here to Justice Haynes, and then a little dump off. Really like the play design and really good blocking. Really good blocking downfield as well. So good block here. Donovan McCulley had a really great job blocking all day on the outside. So give him a lot of credit. And downfield, I think that is Samaj Morgan on the outside as well. So really good job blocking. They formed this really nice lane for Marsh. And then Marsh makes another guy.
That's not a good one.
That's Channing Goodwin.
Channing Goodwin. Not
so good job, Goodwin. That's going to earn him more time, right? Blocking like that continually downfield. So really good job. That's a really successful play. In a game where you desperately needed to see some momentum, that's just a really good job. And I really like that they're leaning into Andrew Marsh. I think he got like 9 targets, 8 catches on the day, like 130 yards or something. So that's what you need. You needed a second option. Marlon Klein has been quiet on the receiving side, so you desperately needed someone opposite of Donovan McCulley to step up, and Andrew Marsh is stepping into that role. Okay, second quarter now. We're looking at a nice jump cut here out of Justice Haynes. Great block on the outside, Donovan McCulley. Not great blocking up front, but you also, I think you are at a numbers disadvantage here if you're Michigan. Maybe not, but not able to get a whole bunch of movement. I think this is more just like well played, but no real place for Max Bredesen to get. So you're trying to get a double team here to then release to 23, one-on-one block here, one-on-one block here, and then you have a block on 6, and Evan Link is reaching out to 18. So the main issue is I think 97 comes across here, and you're not able to get Bredesen. You see his eyes immediately identify. I think this is Gentry, that rangy linebacker. You see him identify that, trying to get there, but he's not able to get through a gap here that you would hope your offensive line, Jake Garnera, would be able to form. So there's not really a gap getting out there for your lead blocker of Bredesen to get. And as a result, it's a nice decision here for Justice Haynes to bounce, right? He's seen a bunch of red hats there. He's not seen what he likes, and then he bounces really quick. And that's just elite. And then it helps on the outside that you have Donovan McCulley throwing a great block. Now, there were a couple late hits that were missed here. Right here, this is a late hit right there. I mean, he's shoving him way far into the white there. He extends his arms right there, far into the sideline, into the bench. That should be a flag. And there's a later flag where Michigan delivered a late hit that wasn't flagged either. So, I mean, when you're this close to the bench, right, you're rolling into that. That's a safety concern. So even on top of being frustrated, you didn't get the yards. Like you need to call that so that you realize, hey, I can't get away with a slightly late push here. It's pretty egregiously late. Okay, let's go to the other angle just so you can view the blocking here from Donovan McCulley, number 1, bottom of your screen. Really good job recognizing, hey, this is bouncing. This is going to bounce outside, and he gets on his horse. And I like his head position, right? You don't need to get a huge block here. Just get in front of him. You can't block, if your hat is on the other side of him here instead of on the inside, you're going to get called for blocking the back 100 out of 100 times. But look where he gets his hat, right? It's on the front side, maybe matching that front side. And he doesn't deliver a huge hit, right? So he doesn't want to get called for a blindside block, but he's just on the shoulder, right on the side there. And as a result of the path that number 19 for USC took, it takes him right in the path of number 7 there as well. This is a 2-for-1 block. Really great job. That broke this from being, maybe a marginal gain to a first down. Now, the only other thing that I would like to see here is Andrew Marsh is watching the play, okay? So I like that he's looking back of, like, where can I help? But as soon as you see this is the path, I'm trying to get a block here, just go and find someone, right? Go and find work. If he finds work and is able to take out 25, this is a house call. This is a house call if he's able to get over there. At least, maybe not a house call because of the distance between him and that safety or that corner, but at least has a chance. So anyway, that's the next level, right? Of continuing to look for work downfield. It's usually not the case where you want to be looking and watching the play develop. Just go find someone to block and ask questions later. So
I personally would have liked Klein to kick his guy out because that's a typical cutback that Justice would have hit. Those linebackers get scraped over in the wash. You probably can see it better on the other view.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on this view, if he just turns his behind inside, there's a hole right there that we've seen Justice hit. He's up on 7 quickly, and then it's just making 7 miss, and that might be a house call.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough ask, I think, for number 6. Number 6 is a big guy. So I do think Marlon Klein's probably outsized. But yeah, you're right. If he's able to get a turn here and turn his butt inwards here, Justice Haynes is hitting that hole quick. And that could be a dangerous game. Okay. We're moving on here. First down, moving into USC territory. Ooh, watch out. We called out number 4. This is the true freshman defensive tackle that Stewart, is that his last name?
Yep, Jakeem Stewart.
Jakeem Stewart. But he was a recruit for Michigan, obviously went to USC, and he just completely manhandles El Hadi here. So I had some notes about El Hadi where I know he's coming back from injury. I think there's some costs to shaking up your offensive line where unless the guy that is coming back into the rotation is decidedly better than who he's replacing, you might see a downgrade just because of the familiarity that the offensive line has over the last couple of games that they've built with Afobe, Crippen, between him, Garnera, your center and guards. So I don't know. I mean, give a lot of credit here to number 4 for USC. He's a monster, and he has done this throughout the season, at least a couple of plays, but just not a good play. Not a good play from El Hadi. As soon as you see a hand on the back right here, like his whole chest is into the shoulder pad. You can't get leverage off of that. Compare that to just the body language here on your left tackle of Link, where you have your hands engaged, right? Your chest is in front of him. As soon as you get a hand wrapped around the back there, you give that entrance for number 4 to come in. Now, should Crippen have helped a little bit more? Maybe could have given a little bit more of a chip here, help out your guard coming across. It's a tough ask. So anyway, I think Crippen probably could have done a better job, but El Hadi needs to have better hand placement here in order to have this block.
What down is this?
What down is this? Good question.
Yes.
This is, I think it was 1st and 10. Yeah, 1st and 10. So it's setting yourself up in a really tough spot, 2nd down, 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14 now. So, I mean, this guy's a monster, as people in the chat are saying. He's supposed to be a senior in high school this year, and he's just manhandling, what is El Hadi, a 5th year, 6th year senior? So that's scary. He's a guy to watch in the future. But yeah, you need better play from your guard on that. Can't have that happen. Okay, 3rd and 9 now. I think this is just 2 plays later. Drop back pass. Footwork is really shaky here from Bryce Underwood. And you just need to throw the ball away. Know the situation. Situational football says you need to preserve points. And 3rd and 9, when you're right on the edge of field goal range, right? This would be about a 45, 50 yarder or so, 55 yarder, 51, 52 yarder maybe. You throwing the ball away here preserves that chance. You getting sacked, and now the ball's on the 42. I like Zavada, but this year a little bit shakier. You're now pushing 60 yards for a field goal. Cannot take that sack. Yeah. Now, what were his options here on the pass? One note here, and we can learn from this. So what I mean by we can learn from this, they're blitzing here. This is where the blitz comes from. So the eye should initially go over here, but this is how you appropriately compensate for the blitz if you're a defense. Watch this guy drop back into the area that is vacated by the blitz. I'll go forward and back. There you go. That's how it's supposed to be done. The quarterback's initially going to look over where the pressure is. Now you can see his eyes are going, hey, I'm seeing pressure. You see Bryce Underwood, probably that's where he's looking. Hey, there's pressure coming. I'm looking right here. Not there. It's not there. So
I get that because you gave me the pop quiz.
Yeah.
But if I'm reading right to left, I got a guy coming across. I got a crosser.
You do.
So this is I think where he has to. He's indecisive here. Either You're going to take off running and roll this out and try to make something, or you're going to stand in there and take the hit and hit the crosser crossing. Because if you hit the crosser, you're probably in field goal range and you don't know what he can do as he's crossed across the field. Because that guy is not going with the crosser.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, he needs to I think you're right. I think he's just panicking here a little bit. He's backing up, and you can see his feet are just happy, right? His feet are happy. He's probably right now, he recognizes the pressure. As soon as you recognize that pressure, your mind just needs to go, all right, what's the quickest thing? Because all these guys, these are really deep developing routes. All of these are, except for your crossing route. So when you notice this pressure, it's worked for him in the past of, oh, I need to duck out. But a couple things here on the situation. Field goal range, right? That's number one. Number two, I'm running to the short side of the field here. And number three, you do have a release valve. And the release valve is going to the area of the blitzer. So even though they address it up the seam here, I think this is Samaj Morgan, they address it with this linebacker, you do have an option here. So I get his eyes coming off initially, then to here. But as soon as he recognizes, hey, there's this pressure here, it doesn't need to be a perfect throw. You can just lay it up. If anything, short arm it, right? Worst case, it's incomplete right over the middle. Okay, we get a field goal. Situational football. And this is something where it's like, am I going to lambast Bryce Underwood for this play? No, because he's a true freshman. He's going to learn. But you got to recognize, hey, this is the release valve here. This is who I can deliver the pass to under pressure, and I can't afford to be scrambling here in this scenario. Yeah.
Can you go back to just real quick? I know we're running on time, so I want to keep us belaboring this.
Yeah.
But this is something else that I want to see Marshall do better. That's Marshall, not Haynes, right?
Correct.
See, if I think this is Haynes, this blitz is picked up.
I think that's just the Haynes. Yeah, it's just the Haynes, 22.
Okay, so then it just was a misgap on justice. He has to look when you're not blocking anybody. You have to look as a running back. You kind of have to look. Hey, where's the blitzer coming from? Yeah, he leaked out, but if it's not coming into that gap, nobody's there. Turn your head around and see if somebody coming off the backside that you might be able to chip, give your quarterback a little bit more time to dissect who's open.
Yeah.
Marsh was open too, but the throw was mad long.
Yeah. And I just don't know where his eyes are either. Seems like he's probably recognizing this. Like, it seems like it would be in his peripheral to see a guy come flying down, right? And you are right, Darius, that Marsh does come open here on this little comeback route. He is reading is seemingly right to left. So to expect him to get all the way over that, deliver that ball from the right hash, yeah, it's tough. That's a tough ask because he doesn't really – I don't think he knows what the coverage is happening over here. So I think that's a really, really, that's pick six city if you make that decision. So I don't fault him for that. But you're 100% right that I do think Justice Haynes seems like that's where the eyes are right away. And you need to, you can adjust to that, right? You can get over here and then leak late, whatever. But it seems like, as soon as you see this, that is that guy is coming. So, yeah, he's just not able to get over there and address that. And that guy was on a mission. All right, back to defense here. And what do you know? Another shot up the seam. Surprise, surprise, man. What are we doing here? And, again, we just saw an example of – I swear I didn't even plan this. We just saw an example of replacing the pressure where you're sending TJ Guy right here. You're sending him. What's the area you just vacated? Send somebody over to that because the quarterback's going to see that, and first instinct is to throw to where the pressure is coming from. That's a chance for a pick if you do that. You're also sending Hausman over there as well. So I just don't understand what Jimmy Rolder is doing. What is taking you that way? What is taking you over here? What do you see? Right? This is just a quarterback just sitting here. It's not like there's play action or anything that's taking you towards the center of the field. Quarterback hasn't shown that he's running. You're not playing 5D chess. You're playing checkers right now. And checkers is telling you, hey, go over to where my teammate is vacating. There's none of that. He is so late to getting over there. This is not a confident defense. That's the sense I'm getting. This is not confident. When you're a step or two late, that's everything on a quick seam like that. That's everything. So I just don't get it. I don't get where you think you're going to. You're just covering grass if you're older. Replace where the blitz is going, and you have this covered well. You have it covered well. That should be a pick. If his initial motion is right here and you have a free hitter, it's either a sack or you get a pick. Nothing more than that. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Why are we in base defense with 3 defensive tackles when the offense is empty 5 wide? I'll tell you why. Because it's a personnel check for Michigan when you have – actually, no, this isn't even 12 personnel. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I thought an answer because what USC was doing is when they would come out in 12 personnel, they would spread out their tight ends, right? The issue with 12 personnel, if you have your 2 tight ends in and say you're playing a 3-3-5 or something, when you have 2 tight ends, say they're Sorry, give me a sec. Something opened. I don't know what that was. Okay. When you have, say, 2 tight ends in, then you lend yourself, you're at risk of, if you don't have more defensive tackles to handle it, it's a heavier look, right? But if you, as an offense, and you have 2 tight ends and you split them out wide, then you're in trouble as defense, because then you're stuck with three defensive tackles against what's, in reality, a 5 wide look. But this isn't that. I don't think this is 2 tight ends. So I don't know. And there is no running back. So I don't know why you have three defensive tackles here. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's a good question. And I don't think there's any good answer. I'm usually not like at a loss, but I'm at a loss most of the time watching this film. I don't know what they were trying to do here. Okay, little play action here. They're looking for the wheel. This is another play of incompetence from the refs. They called this a 7-yard loss. Okay, I don't know why. They said as soon as he recovered the ball right here, because it was like a backwards pass, right? They say whenever you recover the ball is dead here. Makes no sense. Shouldn't have been. He can still advance the ball. It should be a 2-yard loss. So I don't know what the refs were on. Don't know at all. They covered the initial, the wheel route here. That's the initial play. You fake to 16. You're sending this guy up the wheel. You have good coverage on that, or your coverage is here to defend that. So that seems like where the initial threat is going. Because Barham is getting upfield as much as he is here, which, again, is this a good thing? Technically, because it's a pass rush, I'll accept it because he's trying to get upfield. But, when he's doing that on both pass and rush plays, not my favorite. But because he's getting upfield, he gets in the path of 16. That sets him back behind the line or behind the quarterback. So that's what makes this play into a negative one, because he bumps that and that throw is backwards, and he gets a tip on it as well. So good play from Barham. I'll give him credit. Like he disrupts this play. It's good coverage overall. And ultimately creates a big negative play. I think that was second down. It creates, that was 2nd and 10. So that creates 3rd and 17. So a rare good play. All right. I'm not just doing all the all the negative plays this one, even though it might seem like it. So 3rd and 17, I think Michigan was able to get off the field on this one. So credit where credit is due there. It's just about, again, harnessing that skill, harnessing it, and consistency.
I don't think they was.
Nope.
Did they give up a run on 3rd and 17?
That's later on. On. Don't you worry, buddy. We got that one. Okay. 1st and 10. We got a couple more offensive plays here after the punt. Nice cut here for Justice Haynes. This might have been where he got injured. No, I don't think so. Not on this one. But good blocking here. Really good blocking. I really like how Marlon Klein blocks this. He keeps his hand here, helping if number 10 is shading outside, and then he gets out to 14. On the backside here, single block, you're climbing to backside linebacker coming across, and that's really where this play is made. You're leaving 24, that edge unblocked. That's probably who you're reading if you're Bryce Underwood, if this is a true read, and you hand the ball off here. So nice cut off of the friendly butts there for Justice Haynes, and then able to get a nice pickup there. So nothing fancy, right? Nothing fancy, just good blocking across the offensive line. Good block there from Marlon Klein, and maximal yards there, I would say, on that play, 12 yards or so. So good to see, right? Need to see more of that. Why are we only now getting some of these good runs, right? That's a good question. Okay, 3rd and 7. Drop back pass. Good ball here to Donovan McCulley. Only they're blitzing 5 on a sort of complex twist. I think you're straight up on this side, but then on this side you're doing a multiple twist. Let me actually back up and get this right. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a 3-man weave sort of thing where you have your linebacker looping to the outside, 8 is going here, and then you're looping this guy behind number 8. So you got 4 guys to deal with it here. They all pick this up relatively well. You'd like to see Crippen actually do a better job. Because the throw is out, it didn't end up costing Michigan, but Crippen needs to do a better job of, continue to get a little bit of depth here, recognize, hey, my guy went across my face here. I pass that off to the guard. I need to be ready to accept someone coming across. Keep your eyes on a swivel here and be able to accept that. He's just late looking. Didn't notice the number one was coming, right? So he's out of position there to pick up number one. He does get a hand on him, but, if this play developed a little bit longer, that guy would have gotten there. So beyond this, on third down, it seemed like based off of the eyes of Bryce Underwood, he's looking across middle of field, probably looking at the safety. We'll go to the wide view here to look. And then he probably just sees one-on-one coverage there with Donovan McCulley and just fires there. That's what you got to do with this offense, right? If it's Marsh or if it's McCulley especially has been the guy for this all day long. That's the guy you go to in single coverage and just lay it up to him. There will be a couple plays where he didn't put enough air under the ball to give his guy a chance, but you just put it up and give McCulley a chance in one-on-one coverage. More often than not, he's coming down with that or getting a penalty. So again, simple, right? Not too difficult to run this. Just give your guy a shot. So finally, Michigan getting a little bit of momentum on offense. You're at midfield now. Shot to get back in this game. This is a quick throw. Circuit City says we need more quick throws. If you don't trust your offensive line or if they're having some struggles, I mean, look at what USC is doing, right? If the other team's strength is their pass rush, there are ways around that, right? You just need to deploy that a little bit more. Okay, so you're driving here right in the red zone. Love this little QB draw play. Nasty stiff arm there from Bryce Underwood. And this is a really good way of getting Bryce Underwood involved in the run game without a lot of risk. Really good pickup there from Jordan Marshall on the blitzer. That linebacker comes flying in here, and really good identification of that. So the blocking, everyone is one-on-one here. Boom, boom. So you're rushing 6 here if you're USC, and good recognition of Jordan Marshall coming across, delivers a nice hit, and that's going to form this crease. So number 8 is kind of taking himself out of the play here by reacting inside, and that helps out. I think this is Crippen blocking him there. Yep. And nice decision from Bryce Underwood to cut off of his butt. And then after that, I'd like to see Donovan McCulley blocking a little bit longer, but good job finding more work, right? After 17 comes off the block here, it looks like Donovan McCulley is expecting Bryce Underwood to, cut to the inside here. Seems like Bryce Underwood is maybe cutting a little bit early because of 24 approaching. But I like how Donovan McCulley continues to block, right? Keep blocking, keep going downfield. Again, nothing like too special on this play. I think they need to go to this more. You need to go to this more. You're not asking a lot of your offensive line. In some sense, it's a screen pass blocking, right? Where you're just using their momentum against them. If they want to go upfield, you let them. You escort them upfield and let your dynamic quarterback find a lane to run. Okay, and we're getting closer to the goal line here. Nice little play action pass. Nice ball and nice catch, Donovan McCulley. I feel like I saw Donovan McCulley do this at Indiana all day long. He's your number one wide receiver. I know I said Andrew Marsh might be, but right now I think McCulley maintains that. So again, nothing. As soon as you see man-to-man coverage, I like what Michigan is doing here. We just have mass protect. You just have 2 routes going out here. Maybe you have Marshall heading out late. He's leaking, but really it's just 2 crossing routes. You got Marsh.
Both of them was open.
Both of them were open. Yeah, you had your choice here of who you wanted to go to. And good job securing the catch. Nothing special. I just like these sort of like simple looks because it makes things really easy for your quarterback. You don't need to read a whole lot. You're in man coverage. And you ensure that you have a safe pocket here because you're in mass protect. So that's great. That's great. And it feels like you're maximizing the strengths of your offense, right? You have two main wide receivers in Marsh and McCulley. You have a good quarterback when he has some time to deliver an accurate ball. It's just good play design. Good play design. You're playing to your strengths there. Okay, so you feel lucky that you've tied up the game at this point, right? If I'm Michigan, I'm ecstatic. You've played this poorly. Everything I've shown, and you are just you're tied. That's great. 3 minutes on the clock. What can you do on defense? And I know I preface this with things are great. Things are not great. All right. This is what I like to call keep contain. Just keep contain. You're doing a really good job if you're Nichols off the edge here. All right. You're doing a really good job. Keep that outside arm free. Keep that outside arm free. He's getting nice penetration here. And you even have this running back who's coming to help as well. But he just doesn't keep his outside arm free. Now, is there holding a little bit right there that should be called? Yes. But again, it's unfortunate, but Michigan's defense has to play as if they're never going to call holding because this was the first game they called a single hold penalty against Michigan all year. Or I should say benefiting Michigan all year. So anyway, you got to keep that outside arm free. And then this is just a great catch. That foot is in bounds. I think the other angle shows it pretty cleanly as well. It's just a scramble drill. It's tough. It's tough to guard if you're a safety or a cornerback. Just good play. Good play keeping that foot in bounds. This just comes down to your defensive end keeping contained in the pocket, and this won't be possible. So give credit. That's a good find, good ball, good catch, good execution. Just you could have had him in the pocket if you keep that outside arm free. And again, it's Dom Nichols. I wouldn't expect him to be getting this many snaps this early. So I don't know why I think he's going to be a good player, but I still don't understand the rotation by Michigan's defensive line. But all right, let's move on here. 1st and 10, 30 seconds. So they've driven all the way down close to the red zone for USC. Drink, guys. There's another screen pass. Another screen pass going for 10 yards. Drink. I mean, how many times can you get bit by this before you make an adjustment? And I mean, let's look at the personnel here again. I think this is you have 3 more defensive linemen in the game here. I don't know what you're keying off of. I don't know why. I just don't know why there's no adjustments here. And I don't know why you're following this as intense if you are if you're Hausman on the outside. So what I mean by that is you're caught in a blitz. So you're sending 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're sending, I think it's Jimmy Rolder, 5. And because you have the motion out here, you're down a guy, so you're sending Hausman out here to address that. The issue here is the eyes are just completely away from the play. If you're Hausman, Hausman is your innermost linebacker here, and his eyes are just over here in case of a potential screen pass or something. There's nothing here. I'd check back, right? This is where the screen pass is, and no one is set up to address the running back here. No one's over the middle of the field. So because you're caught in the blitz, there's no one to address this. You essentially have your safeties to depend on there. So yeah, it's one of those things where you either need to start dropping back your defensive line, right? You need to sacrifice and not send 5 every single time, or this is going to continue to happen until Michigan would show, hey, we're not just going to send all of our defensive linemen that we're showing here. Then you're going to keep getting these inside screens, these tunnel screen types that USC continued to deploy. So just not a great like you can point to any player and be like, oh, they're misplaying this. I just don't think they're being put in a position to be successful. It just doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now we are, I think, last play of the first half. This one I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on. This is just a guy making a play. All right. This is just a hell of a catch. I don't think you can guard this much better. I really don't. I said that as much on Twitter, and someone's like, just turn around and catch the ball if you're the defensive back. I don't think you can play this any better as a defensive back. This is a quick pass. Again, first read. This guy is manned the hell up. That's the only place the ball could go. And this guy is fully extended here, completely like parallel with the ground. And he somehow pulls that in. That arm position of the defensive back is pretty good. You're right between the arms there. So I think that's Lemon, right? That wide receiver for USC. He's a dude. He's a dude. That's a dude catch. Just made a better play. If the offense can execute like that, ball placement like that, extension like that for wide receiver, I think that's great coverage. You just got guys making plays. Okay, we're in the second half. We're a little bit over halfway through the plays. And at this point, I still think you're fortunate if you're Michigan to be down 7. Like, honestly, they did not play like a team that should be down 7 at halftime. So you still accept that, and you get the ball first in the second half. Oh, my God. You had so much potential on this play. You had so much potential. It's right there. I don't know. Ooh, this makes me mad. Okay. So this is the play design. Double here. Get your guard out to the linebacker. Let me do single block here. All right. You got numbers. Look at the numbers you got here. All you need to do here is, if you're El Hadi, all you need to do is block here. You didn't even need to put hands on him. This guy takes himself into this gap here. You just need to pick up 23. And guess what? You have a double team here. You probably could even get some assistance on this after they're through their double team. Look at all of the potential here. I don't blame Jordan Marshall for taking this, because this is the most direct path. You expect your guard to block the guy right in front of you. He just says, nope, not blocking him. And you're tackled at the line of scrimmage. That cannot happen. For someone that has been injured, you're hoping he's coming back healthy. He's a senior captain on your offensive line, and he barely gets an arm on him. I don't even think he does. Untouched. That cannot happen. Yeah, seriously. And the only thing I'm thinking here is he's thinking, okay, I get this linebacker coming across, and I leave this guy for this block right here, and Link is coming off to pick him up. That's the only thought process I can have. But that doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you're climbing, right, you're climbing here, this is an unreasonable climb for this guard. I can't imagine they teach, hey, you're always headed out to this backside guard. If you see a linebacker coming up at you like this, you block him. You're untouched. You have time to block him and then go backside. I don't know. It's baffling. My voice doesn't usually go that high on these, but I am flabbergasted. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you can see the eyes. That's where 58, that's where his eyes are going. His eyes are immediately like, okay, I get the backside like linebacker, but you don't just pass up a linebacker that is coming across your face there through the A gap. You just don't do that. So it's maddening, because that play should at least get 8 yards. And it just doesn't. Just makes no sense. Oh, I'm losing my voice because of how exasperated I am. All right, this is a quick pass here. Nice catch there for Hogan Hansen, and they call this BS penalty. Call this little ticky-tack offensive pass interference, so they can't call offensive pass interference. If you want to go like by the book, what I mean, like, is he blocking like a split second? I mean, a split second right here. That's less than a quarter of a second before the pass gets there. Okay. To call that is ridiculous. To call that is ridiculous. That is a bang bang play. If a wide receiver is defending this pass, okay, and he gets hands on Hogan Hansen right now, like a hand on his hip, whatever, and breaks up this pass, they're not going to be calling that defensive pass interference. I've seen a bang bang play like that doesn't get called for defensive pass interference. So to call this for offensive pass interference is BS. Just straight up. That is a bad call. All right. So again, I think I called out one play so far that was a bad call against that went Michigan's way on like the backward pass, right? So there was a late missed late hit, whatever that wasn't called. I am at the point in this game where this ref crew was just incompetent. They were just incompetent, and Michigan was unfortunately on the wrong side of it. Again, I'll always caveat this with it didn't influence the game, but it didn't look like they knew what they were doing. And I'm not even convinced, there's nothing more to say. I think they were incompetent, and I don't understand how that's pass interference. I don't know how you call that, how you're confident in calling that. So, okay, let's move back onto the defensive side, shall we? 14-7 midfield here. If you're USC, little play action. Great play. What a play here. And then on top of it, Metcalf gets the penalty. Number 6, and it's a rightful call. Number 6 after this play, you'll see nice hit, really great stick, and then you can see his right hand or his left hand here, right there, holding his shoe, lifts up. Can't be doing that. So good call. They finally got a call right, and this backs up USC in a big way. So finally, we see someone making a great play. Good eyes. And look at how quick the reaction here is of Metcalf. As soon as he sees that football cocked back, he is on it. His reaction time is perfect, beats his block, delivers a perfect stick. So I really like to see that. That's great technique. Notice the little shoulder dip here too. Little shoulder dip to get past that potential block. Boom. Hit stick. Good hit. Gets the penalty on top of it. That's like a 22-yard loss, essentially, right there. So just great play. Give him a lot of credit for this. And now we're at the point. Sorry, one more thing. Nice head placement here, right? Good angle. Head placement right in front. Boom. Really good hit. So really good job there. Draws the penalty. Stupid play by that wide receiver. What are you doing? And now 2nd and 25. All right, 2nd and 25. And you just cannot give that up. Cannot give that up. Inexcusable. I don't know how this happens. It's dreadful play, mainly on your safety, but it's also not great from your linebacker as well. There's 3 levels. All right, I'm just remembering this play now. There's 3 levels that this play is inexcusable on. Cam Brandt, your defensive end. Whoever's teaching defensive ends is not doing a good job. Okay, I'm going to call it straight up how I see it. They are not doing a great job. As soon as you're here, and you have your eyes, you should sense that you got 2 pullers coming this way. You have an opportunity to work down the line of scrimmage and meet them right here in the backfield. You should be coming as hard as you can down the line of scrimmage here and meet them right here. Blow that up. Number 8 here, Derek Moore, is at a disadvantage. Look, he's got multiple bodies, double team to create this hole. Your responsibility as this edge player, come down the line of scrimmage and meet these pullers as fast and as hard as you can right here and remove this advantage that they are getting through this double team. That is your job. Watch what he does. Let's watch him first. Just waits. Just waits. What are you waiting for? His first thing that he has no momentum, and then he reaches. Guess what? You get blown back. Gets blown back. You got to crash down. He's accepting a block. You don't accept that block. That guy's flying at you. So that creates way too big of a gap. Look at the gap now. Because you had the double team, right? Derek Moore is in a bad position. He's trying to work through a double team. That's tough for him. It's a job of him to close that gap. If you close that gap, you create an opportunity for your linebacker to then make a play. Because of how big this gap is, Hausman cannot be decisive. If he closes this gap, if Cam Brandt closes this gap, then you can shoot down, if you're Hausman, to meet the next puller in that gap. I think I do think he should be attacking down already, but if he takes this head on, you leave the opportunity for the running back to cut outside of him. So I think because of how big this gap is, you're creating indecisiveness for your linebacker. You're making that job a lot harder than it should be. That hole should be a linebacker-sized hole if you're playing this correctly as your defensive end. Instead, it's at least 2 bodies wide. Still 2 bodies wide. Now, I do think the positioning should be a little bit closer here, right? I don't think his positioning is great, but I don't think he played this terribly because of the threat outside, right? Linebacker, you want to force things back towards the teeth of your defense. So anyway, I think Cam Brandt put your linebacker in a really disadvantaged position because now look at how big that hole is. The next play is look at Hillman. Hillman is coming down, and again, you're playing reckless. I feel like you're gonna jump down his throat, Darnell, and just rip him a new one because he probably is by his coaching staff. Because your job here is mitigation. You should be boring. You should be, all right, you got your 8 yards. The buck stops here. Same thing with Rod Moore, right? Rod Moore has all of this side to cover. Hillman has all of this side to cover. Come down under control. He doesn't do that, right? He is trying to make the play because of this cut here, right? Trust that you have another safety. You should know that Rod Moore's there. Know that Rod Moore is here to address any sort of cut this way. You have another safety. Your job is not to make a hit here. Your job is to mitigate this side. And he doesn't even slow him down. Inexcusable play. You got to bench him after that. You have to. You need to at least slow him down, and he barely does that. I don't think he does that at all. And then you're just relying on your defensive backs to come and stop that. So that's brutal, man. That is like really, really bad play on multiple levels of your defense. And this is why I'm not encouraged by this defense. Because technique-wise, hesitancy-wise, discipline-wise, it is a mess. It is a mess. And this is the play where I was just completely at a loss for words. It's irresponsible defense. Irresponsible. That's what it is. Okay. All right. 2nd and 6, ball on the 15. It's not getting better. Not getting better. How many times do we have to say what the job is of a defensive end before we get through to them? It's the same look. It's the same look. As soon as you get 2 guys coming across here, what's the job of your defensive end? Crash. Crash, crash, crash. So you're sending out this tight end, and then so I get Rolder coming out here, right? He thinks it's going to be a pass. He's probably has man coverage on him. All right, I get that. Barham creates this play. He tries to go upfield. He's playing selfish football, as you described it, Darnell. That's selfish football by going upfield. He's trying to make a play. Instead of doing his job, he's trying to make a play. Doesn't slow the guy down. Rolder has his eyes completely off the play. So, like, he just completely blows this guy up, but he's lost. He doesn't know where the play is going. So as soon as he blows this guy up, he's not there to address it. Guy just runs right by. The eye discipline, the lack of doing your job. I put this 90% on Barham and a little bit less on Roller, but you got to keep your eyes as well. It's just there's no discipline here. There's no discipline, and it's just the offense is disciplined, right? As soon as you come across here, guess what? The eyes of this second puller here go outside. Oh, he doesn't see Roller coming here. Guess what? He continues on the inside, and he picks up this linebacker flowing to the play. That's good offense right there. That's good offense. Not good defense. Not disciplined. That guy goes untouched all the way to the end zone. Tell me where I'm wrong, Darnell. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do about this. This is beyond like players being outplayed. This is systemic to me. Players are regressing. Players are not learning. They're not being taught what's wrong and what's right. That's what my eyes are telling me, and I feel like I'm a crazy person. I don't know.
It's bad on so many levels, man. And when I watched this film by myself, I was pulling at my hair. I felt like I was getting more and more gray hair the more I watched it. A lot of meanness. I think somebody put in the chat, he doesn't like taking on the blocks. Well, I'm sorry. This is what you are as a defensive end. And if he's the one that doesn't like taking on the blocks, I'll give you that. But I'm seeing that from every defensive end. I'm seeing it from TJ Guy. I'm seeing it from Cam Brandt. So if nobody wants to take on the puller, because if that's the case, if don't nobody want to take on the puller, then go find you somebody that will. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. And the other thing I didn't even really think about, if you have Roller this gung-ho about this tight end, why is Barham reacting to it as well? If you guys are on the same page that Roller is going out here, you shouldn't even really need a chip from Barham. Why is your momentum taking you out here if he is that focused on the tight end? That's not really necessary. On top of the action afterwards, right? The action afterwards could have been, okay, I'll meet you at the spot instead of going around it. Just can't do that. You just can't do that and win a game. You just can't do it. I mean, yes, Darius Lewis, I think changing Barham's position had him confused. That's on the coordinator and position coaches. You need to suss out, can this guy do the job? I understand being confused. I understand it's a tough switch. I'm not minimizing that at all, right? But it's up to the defensive staff to recognize whether or not this is possible of this player to accomplish it.
Normally, I would agree, but he played edge last year. The whole reason why he's playing edge this year is because he was a better edge last year. He's not a linebacker. He cannot guard in space. He's better coming off edge. He wants to play linebacker.
Yeah.
But he's going to be an edge at the next level. He's not going to be a linebacker.
Right.
So the quicker he can understand that and get that through his head, the better off he'll be. Yep. He was our number one pass rusher at the end of the season, playing the edge, not playing linebacker.
Yep. Okay, we're back on offense here, 21-7. Happy feet time. And, if there's one thing of the technique of Underwood, I think his footwork and his movement in the pocket has not been great as of late. There's no reason, I understand wanting to move out here to provide yourself a better passing lane to your tight end here. But there's a cost for that. And the cost for that is a hospital ball. I mean, it's not a terrible hospital ball because he was stationary, right? But you're still getting your guy lit up because of the delay in delivering that ball. If you deliver that ball now, you're fine. And there's no reason for you to not deliver that ball now. You can. No one's pressuring you. You have this right now. This is a decent enough shot, right? You can do that. You can do that. That extra time to roll out for really no reason. I don't think he needed to create that vision for him. And that late ball got him lit up. And in a game where the momentum's already going in USC's favor, that's going to get the crowd riled up. There's a lot of things here that are working against you by making that decision. Now, the other thing, I think he gave up too quickly on Hogan Hansen up the seam here. He had it. As soon as you see 19, right, I think that's where the eyes of Bryce Underwood are initially going. As soon as you see 19 and his back right here, well, that should tell you, based on just the alignment of these guys, your only real shot at defending up the seam here is this guy. And he's already focused on the bottom of your screen, right? So you have a shot up the seam here. This guy is still in his back pedal. He's not going to be able to cover that. So if you loft this up over the top, I don't think this guy is going to be able to get over to that either. So I think you miss a shot there up the seam. And because you have the happy feet for no real reason here for Bryce Underwood, he's not in a position, right? Even though right now he might see it. His eyes might be here and recognize, hey, I have an advantage here. Look where his feet are right now. He's not in a position to deliver a ball. And I think he had already come off of that too early. So I think it's a missed opportunity. And then on top of that, he's just late making that call and got Klein lit up. So again, like not a terrible play, but the consistent theme I came back to watching this film over and over again for the offense was missed opportunity, and you're making things a little bit harder than they need to be. So I'm not sure. And Darius Lewis, that's a good question. I don't know if he's like where his tendencies are yet. I don't know if I've seen like a reasonable seam shot from him. I'd have to go back.
I haven't seen it since week 2.
Yeah,
played Central Michigan.
I think it's been a while. So
week 1, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, just missed opportunity. Okay, we still got the ball here. You're on the 37-yard line, 1st and 10, handoff to Jordan Marshall, and man, just not going anywhere. This isn't a defense that you should be struggling this hard against. And I think there was a really big missed opportunity for a cutback lane here. So the eyes, how I understand the running back position, your eyes should look to climb. What I mean by that is you're reading not just where your offensive linemen are, but also you're climbing your eyes to this positioning, to the linebacker, and you should, out of your peripheral, you would hope that you see out of the corner of your eye where the momentum of these guys are taking. Now, this is what made Blake Corum into the exceptional player that he is. Jordan Marshall is really young. So again, not going to hold it against him for missing this cutback lane. But there's a lot of indicators here, right? A lot of indicators based on where your offensive linemen are pointed. You might see 31 crashing down here. See Evan Link here as well. So I can understand, maybe it's hard to see past this to the linebacker. But maybe you should start to gear down, because it looks like this guy will have an advantage to the outside if that's your path, right? You're trying to get here. At least you should start to slow down and evaluate, hey, is this my best spot? Because if you look backside, right, you got Andrew Sprague here, Crippen turning his body here. You had something backside. If you cut back towards midfield, he just didn't see it. But if you decelerate here a little bit, there's that cutback lane that's huge, right? That's a huge cutback lane, and that could be going somewhere. So, again, young guy. I don't expect him to be there right now. But these are the sort of things where it's like maybe towards the end of the year, maybe, things like that where there's hope for the offense here. I don't think this is poorly done from the offense. I think because of the gaps that the defense has chosen, there was success here. There's success. You're just looking for maturation of a player, and that's a consistent theme. You're looking for maturation of Andrew Marsh. You're looking for that for Bryce Underwood. You're looking for that for Jordan Marshall, especially now that Haynes is questionable. So a lot of little things, right, that can add up to be successful for the offense. So that's why I'm not as doomer on the offense compared to where I am on the defense. So obviously you don't want to set up your offense with that, and I think they end up punting the ball here, but it's not a lost cause. And defense, maybe defense isn't a lost cause. Again, I'm very doomer right now, but I'm just explaining myself there. Okay, so ball back with USC. And man, this is one of those plays where just from alignment alone, I don't know what you're expecting if you're Michigan. Look at how Michigan is playing this. I don't know what you expect. What I mean by that is just by alignment and who you're rushing, right? Watch the backside here, rushing here, rushing here, rushing here, and you're going B gap right here. Okay. And then you're also blitzing Hausman. Let me just confirm this. Yeah, Hausman is blitzing as well. So you are just completely selling out on this side of the ball. You're selling out right here. And I don't exactly understand why. That seems like an incredible gamble to make when the running back's right here, and this is a natural handoff path for the running back. Maybe I'm being, I don't even know what I'm being. I feel like I'm being like gaslit by this defense or something to like question everything. Like, am I an idiot? I don't know. But you are pulling here to nobody because Etta is also cutting inside this B gap. There's no edge player here. You have Cole Sullivan who's playing on this tight end, so he's not filling the gap on the edge. There's no one for this guy to block. Watch him come around the edge. I got nobody, right? I can just roam free. I'm just running. Is there a block in the back here? Maybe you could call that against 85. He doesn't really put his hand up. I don't think so. I think you can probably just hip check like 85 is doing right there and probably get away with it because you're not actively putting your hands into it. So anyway, I wouldn't call that a penalty. But why are you expecting Etta to be your edge defender here? And why are you sending him into the B gap if that's what you're expecting him to do? Again, you're just not setting your defense up to be successful at all. So I mean, it's just not great. It's not great at all. Let me go to the sideline view to look at what the secondary blocking looks like. Your puller is free to go block to the corner, right? So you got 85 blocking here. This puller can identify the cornerback, and you're sending this wide receiver out to block Rod Moore. So you're blocked all the way to the safety. Usually you're blocked until you get to the safety. But not here. So yeah, maybe the thought process here is that Etta is supposed to be the edge player, right? He's supposed to be outside to the edge, but then you're leaving the B gap completely exposed, right? Even though the play is designed to take him outside, you would be leaving your B gap completely exposed if this guy is going to the outside. So the numbers just don't make sense. The numbers don't make sense. You're selling out a blitz here. You're sending 4 with the hope that the play's not going to go to this side of the field. I don't know why you make that gamble. Seems really dumb. Ended up being dumb. So I can't put this on the players. Again, what do you expect them to do? I will point out at the end of this play, this is a late hit. What is this ref looking at? Right? I'll call balls and strikes. This guy is 3 steps out of bounds, and he gets walloped. That's a frustration hit from Zeke Berry. Where's the flag? Right? Like, I'll call it what it is. The refs, again, incompetence. Incompetence isn't excusable, even if it benefits Michigan here. This is incompetence. That's a late hit. What are you looking at? What are we doing? So all around, I'm looking at this game, watching the film last night, cutting this footage. I'm just like, am I crazy? I feel like I'm watching like the reversion of a football game, both from the refs and from this defense. Okay, I know we're already at 2 hours. I'm going to try to fly through this because I am losing my voice and losing my sanity.
It don't do that at the beginning anymore. It get worse.
Yeah. All right, we got a good play. Here. All right, Dom Nichols doing a good job here, okay? I'll call when someone makes a good decision here, good technique, I'll call it out, okay? So what Dom Nichols does here, he keeps – look at the stance. He keeps a good stance here. He's keeping his eyes in the backfield, right? They probably still had the play. This had to be a called handoff, right? A called handoff, because if it was an actual option, should have thrown the ball here. Should have thrown it here. You had 2 guys here. It doesn't look like it's probably Hausman. Doesn't look like he's going to get out there. So anyway, this is another thing of I don't know. This is the mid-third quarter. I don't know why you haven't made an adjustment to how you're defending this play. because I can't expect Dom Nichols to make a play out there to the flat to number 6. I can't expect Hausman to close this gap unless he's selling out. Anyway, Dom Nichols does a good job keeping his football stance, getting his shuffle down the line, and then he gets on his horse once he recognizes that it's a handoff. And boom, he makes that play backside. Now, why did he make that play backside? Let's go to the end zone view. Watch what TJ Guy does. Thank you. It took this long, where you got 2 pullers here, and you finally have an edge player, TJ Guy. Watch him do a little chip, and then he's going to meet them. He's going to meet them, take them on. Boom, right? And then, remember what I was saying earlier about Ernest Hausman when who was it before? When Cam Brandt didn't do it, when he didn't take on the block and the gap was too big for your linebacker to come down. When your defensive end is able to meet these guys, then you have a linebacker-sized gap that your linebacker can confidently fly through. If he doesn't meet them here, then guess what that creates? Hesitancy, right? He's not sure, is the guy going to cut outside, is going to cut inside? There's too much space for a single guy to fill that gap. But because you have TJ Guy here meeting them there, look at this gap. Even though you have a successful double team on Benny, right, that's creating a little bit of a gap here because there's a little bit of space here. TJ Guy closes that enough to where there's just a single man gap for a linebacker and good fill there from Cole Sullivan. So you can't hit that hole at full speed as a running back. You can't. There's not enough time. There's not enough space. And because you're just buying time, you bought that time between TJ Guy and Cole Sullivan filling that, and because you have the discipline on the backside of Nichols, Dominic Nichols getting down the line from the backside, all these things work together. No one's playing selfish. All of these guys are doing their job. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It probably hurts. Probably hurts if you're TJ Guy taking on those pullers. That's a big guy. It was a good job. Everyone does their job. Probably doesn't feel great for Cole Sullivan taking on an offensive lineman there. But you don't need to be perfect. You don't even need to really win. There's nothing to win. You just need to be there. And you need to be confident in what you're doing. So anyway, 3 players doing their job. And guess what? They're all there. They're all there. They all get probably half tackle there. So that's what you get when you do your job. No gain. 3rd and 11 here. Ball on the 14. Keep contain, right? Now you're in no man's land. You're lucky here that the quarterback decides to lose his mind and throw this ball. But same thing with Dominic Nichols. He does a great job on this pass rush. Does a great job. He beat 74. Really good job on the outside. Keep contain. Can't do it. So again, I really like Dominic Nichols in the future. He's just not doing some of the little things right at this point.
Yeah.
So as soon as you beat the guy here and you recognize that he's the quarterback, excuse me 1 second here. As soon as you recognize the quarterback is going to make a move, right? He's going to start ducking out. You need to break down. You've already beat your guy. You got to break down, just decelerate a little bit, right? And he'll get there. He's a young guy. I think Dominic Nichols will get there. So I like that he won the rep. He flushed the quarterback. If you're 95 here, Trey Pierce, take a little bit better of an angle, right? At this point, you recognize the quarterback is getting to the outside, right? Nichols, the contain was broken. You now become the contain player. You probably aren't going to be able to make like the play, right? I know he thinks he can by taking the angle he does, but if you take a more horizontal angle, guess what? That's going to stress this guy out more. Because when you take a more aggressive angle like that, the quarterback now, he can make a play, right? And Michigan obviously is the beneficiary of just a really dumb throw. But in the future, he might not get so lucky. So you have to understand, hey, I'm now the contained player, and I'm a big boy. I need to have my take my angle appropriately as that new contained player role. So, give credit. Zeke Barrett came down with it. So it worked out. But this game was that close to coming off the rails. What was it, 21-7? They scored another touchdown here, 28-7. Game's pretty much over at that point. So you're fortunate Similar with the forced fumble early in the game. You're fortunate that it came away as it did. Okay, all right, getting towards the tail end here. I'm going to try to fire through these offensive plays relatively quickly. Need to see more of this play. I love this little, this quick sprint draw. Again, it allows the defensive line to get upfield, right? You're forming a huge cavernous hole here just because that extra delay, you are giving time for your running back to see which holes open up because of where the defense is committing, right? These blocks aren't really doing anything. They're giving up ground, but they're just letting these defenders get upfield. That's fine. Go ahead upfield. It's just like a screen pass, right? Get upfield. You're helping me. And look at this gap. El Hadi needs to get out there to the linebacker. He really doesn't get it on his block, right? So El Hadi had a really, really tough game. You need to keep running upfield with him. Again, keep going upfield. If this guy wants to duck under, there's a sense of timing you need to get of I'm running and then I turn inside. And if he wants to try to get upfield, trust my running backs can get there. So you need to have a timing. Same thing as like a screenplay when you release as an offensive lineman. You need to have a timing about that. And El Hadi, I just don't think has that because of how he played that block. So would it have been much bigger of a gain? I don't think so. But again, I'm thinking long term here. And they need to deploy that more often because of how successful they have been the 4 or 5 times they have run it this year. Really good looking play here on a little RPO action. I like just this little bit additional hesitation here. And you see Bryce Underwood's eyes really manipulate 31. Seems like Bryce Underwood's just waiting a little bit longer. And the eyes for Bryce Underwood, it's kind of like a no-look pass because you look at where the ball is end up being thrown. The eyes help shift 31 more horizontally than he should, right? These eyes are telling him, hey, the ball's going to be thrown into this window when in reality it's thrown right behind him. So his ability to manipulate the linebackers with his eyes and be able to deliver a ball in that window that the eyes help vacate that linebacker from, that's excellent play. Really, really good play, and that's one of his best attributes. So Michigan runs this a lot because of how comfortable Bryce Underwood is with those eyes and being able to deliver that big of a strike, like that accurate of a ball, despite not looking right at it. That's next level stuff. So they got to keep going to that because McCauley is a great receiving option in that play as well. Okay, so you're finally getting some momentum down here. Really nice blitz pickup from Bredesen and a missed opportunity. All right, why do I say missed opportunity? This didn't need to be a contested catch. Didn't need to be. You made it a contested catch, and good play from the defensive back. But if you go back to the wide view, pause right here, look at the window for this ball. You keep him on this path, there is no way that this guy's getting there, and he's at least a step or two behind.
Yep.
No need to deliver this ball and hang up your wide receiver here. If the safety, if the safety's closer, then sure, then you throw it up and get a high point ball. That's not what this is. He's already got more depth than the safety. Just continue on his path, and that's a walk-in touchdown. So this is like another thing where I see the potential of the offense. I see it. There's a good route, right? Let's look at the route here. Really nice instep there for Andrew Marsh. Really well done. Doesn't need to be this hard, right? The offense is making things a little bit harder than it needs to be there. That's a great route. He wins. Good read from Bryce Underwood. Just delivered that inside. So, give credit to the defensive back for getting his arm in between those, between the hands there and getting through that. Just need to deliver a more accurate ball. Looking at the footwork real quick, I think it's just a little bit jumpy, the footwork for Underwood. No reason to really be taking these steps, right? Why is he opening his hips like this, right? Really, you want your quarterback to be more stepping into the throw, right? And having his hips open this much, when it's time to throw this ball, his hips are still a little bit too open for my liking. And it's kind of that thing of like, when you point, at the time of throw, you can kind of draw a line of like where the shoulders are pointed, and that's where the ball's going to go. So instead of, where it should be pointed this way, continuing that route, because his hips were already open a little bit, he can't really close them enough. And his hips are, his foot is naturally pointed that way, and he kind of throws behind it a little bit. So again, potential's there. Marsh is coming along. Underwood, we know what he can bring, but step into that throw. Keep your footwork. Trust your footwork. You had good protection there. Just got to put it all together. All right, we got a handful of plays left here. Try to speed through it. Keep this under 230. This ball, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's this angle is the best to show. There was another angle from the stands. I didn't have it, but number 25 just completely turns McCauley here at the bottom of your screen. Puts hands on him, completely turns him right here. McCauley beats him inside here, right? This little outside in, he beats him here. And 25 is trying to slow him down in order to get the safety over top, right? To close this window. Because this is the whole shot that Bryce Underwood has already thrown the ball, right? He's throwing the ball right here, hoping before the safety can get there. This is pass interference, 100%. 100%. Now, should he have thrown it there? Maybe not. He's probably forcing it there, right? Probably, because you have this, you have Marsh, you have other guys to go to. But regardless, that should be pass interference. Okay, so we can talk about, like, should he have thrown elsewhere? Sure. Not allowed to turn a wide receiver like that. Now, would I like to see McCauley continue on and try to fight through that? Of course. Of course. Can't maybe he was trying to sell it a little bit, but I don't think much. Like, that right hand is doing a lot of work there for 25. And you got to call that. You got to. So I don't know if eyes weren't in the right place. This is the same. I mean, it looks like the eyes here for this ref aren't looking right here. So it looks like his eyes are away. So it seems like he's missing it. The back judge is late looking at it, so I don't think it's his job. If we look at the other view, we'll see there is a line judge who should be clued in on this. What are you looking at, buddy? What are you looking at? That's where you should have been looking. So again, as Steve mentioned here, predetermined throw, sure. Seems like he decided, it was a pretty quick read. That's where the ball was going. It had a shot, right? There was a window, albeit a tight one, to throw. And the refs just missed one. So, again, was Michigan on the wrong side of an incompetent ref crew? Yeah. Did it impact the game? Sure. Would it have resulted in Michigan winning the game out? No. I think you're coping if you make that call. But you can't miss that. You can't miss that. You were in the red zone, at least in field goal range. It could have made a huge difference. Okay, we got one play of defense here. Another screenplay. Michigan just had no answer here. Again, just no answer. You have 3 defensive tackles in. You're still in a 5-2 at this point. Your linebackers are on top of each other. Here's your 3 defensive linemen. You're sending Rolder. Have you learned nothing? Right, it's the fourth quarter at this point. You've learned nothing here. You got 3 just jolly big men just running downfield. No one to block. One guy, and look at the lane. It's just too easy. There's no excuse to not have a changeup. No excuse to not have a changeup here. We're lucky that the wide receiver decided to blow up yards here. He ran into the defenders here. If he just continues upfield or just slows down a little bit, goes behind these blockers, that's probably another touchdown. Can't have this happen. How have you not learned your lesson at this point? Okay, they got a field goal out of that drive, so it's a 17-point game. 10 minutes left. A little bobble of the snap. Nice throw here. And really great stop and go after the catch there for Andrew Marsh. This guy's going to be a player, man. You got to do everything you can to hold on to this player and feature him as you do. It's a great throw. Way to layer that in if you're Bryce Underwood. goes just over the outstretched arm there of that linebacker, I assume. And then nice stop and start again for Andrew Marsh. You got to hold on this player. This is a true freshman. True freshman wide receivers are usually take some time for them to develop. So I think he's ahead of schedule at this point, even though, he had a pretty good profile coming in. That's a player. That's a player and needed that badly. Okay. To the 2-point conversion. So for the analytics people out there, there's an article like 2 years ago about when you're down 14 late, you should always go for it go for 2 when you're down 14. I still think that math applies when you're down 17. You have to factor in a field goal there. So anyway, you can get it. I'll send you the thread if you want it on Twitter where I argued with people way longer than I should have about that. But I just hate the play call. And I don't a fade at the goal line on the 2-yard line. I get it. McCulley's a beast. He is a guy you trust in a one-on-one scenario there. I never like fades. It's a lower percentage play, especially in college football. I just don't like the play call. Don't like the play call. If you're going to run the play call, give it as much loft as possible. Okay.
That's where I think that's the issue. He has him beat. If that's a perfect fade ball, it's 2 points. Bryce just missed the throw. You got to give your man a chance.
Yeah, you have the entire field. You can throw this up. Do what was the backyard game? Jackpot 5,000. Whatever. Just throw it up. Worst case is it's picked and whatever, right? But at least give him a chance. It doesn't need to be a perfect ball. Trying to throw a perfect ball doesn't need to be.
He's not. And I get what you guys are saying. It is the lowest percentage.
Yeah.
But this guy is not even looking at Bryce throwing the ball. If Bryce throws this with any amount of touch, McCulley is jumping up, grabbing it. Not to mention he has the guy beat by 3 or 4 steps. I'm almost certain Bryce got to the line, saw the height matchup, and said, "Oh, I'm 100% throwing it." Because you can make an argument if you go back to the other view. You can make an argument. Pause it. It's 3 to block 3 with this guy number 7 out of the picture. He could have threw it down here, and this is a walk. This is block on block, walk-in touchdown. Bryce, I think, saw the mismatch up top and said, "You know what? I'm gonna throw it to my guy because he's just bigger than him. He just missed the throw."
Yeah. It's just inexcusable to not loft it. Like it's the one thing you can't do. Like usually, you might be worried if there's a safety over top, whatever. You have just all this space. You can just loft it as much loft as you could possibly put. And I'd say 60% of the time he's coming down with it. 30% of the time he's getting interfered with, and that's called. 10% of the time it's incomplete if you just leave it up there. So I don't. It's just poor execution. Just poor execution. Okay, we got 5 more plays. Let's speed through it. Later in the game here. Actually, good play. All right. Well, I had to dust through a couple good ones. Good disciplined football here. Just really good push on the defensive line. Relatively gap sound. I mean, I do think there's a missed cutback lane, right? That's the other thing. Even when good things are happening, if you cut this back, good luck, because it looks like Ernest Hausman is coming this way. It looks like you have your linebackers committing here. So I'm not even that enthused with this. Now, it did work out, right? It did work out, but, he's late on the cutback lane. So good recognition of the cutback and getting off the block, especially from Trey Pierce. But yeah, it's a little scary, man. It's just everything's a little scary here. Okay, 3rd and 10 here. All right, 24-13. You still got a shot if you're Michigan. Still got a shot. Another one up the seam. Now, was this a completion? Should have been called incomplete. This one I'm close on. Because right at this point, like right here, it's hard to know how much Mangum has of this Metcalf has of this catch versus the tight end, right? And right here, again, it's really hard to tell like where the ball is amongst that. So to me, seems like they were still fighting as they were going down. So I'm like 60% on the side of it should have been incomplete, 40% of a completion. So I'm not like completely upset that it was called a catch, but I think it was really, really close. And I think Michigan got the bad end of this one as well. But I'm not as upset as the other ones that have been called, which were blatant misses. But I'm more upset, again, just with the play call here. Again, you're in a 5-2. You're still in your 5-2. How many seams have we seen at this point? How many have we seen? We've seen a million. And you have to recognize what's the biggest threat as Hausman, okay? You need to recognize where is the potential guys coming into the area that I am in. You have this little like Texas route here, but you have to, again, trust that you have Jayshon Barham, that he's going to come inside here. But he doesn't even have like good leverage on that. So even if he wanted to potentially throw here, maybe 85 would be able to make a play on it as well. But again, that's not your job. You should trust that you have Barham underneath to account for that. So I don't know why your eyes didn't recognize 87 coming across here up the seam and get some depth on that. Just doesn't make any sense. He's just frozen there. What are you looking at? What are you expecting? How do you not see this guy cross just right to your left there? How many seam? This is like the third or fourth pass up the seam, and there's no adjustment to it. Just no adjustment to it. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're thinking. Get some depth there. You need to recognize where the threat is. And this is the second to last defensive play, and it looked like there were no adjustments at all, which is disqualifying as a defense overall. All right, last play. There you go. Untouched. Remember I mentioned on that one earlier play of, man, it looked like the backside looked pretty open there. Guess what? Same play. Looks pretty damn similar. The
sideline. Yep, he got that tablet on the sideline. They made an adjustment.
Yep.
They told him it was going to be there.
And
it's the same play.
Same play. And look at remember I called out the linebackers. I said, man, those linebackers both really reacting pretty hard on this side. You're fortunate that the defensive line were able to get off their blocks and that the running back was late in recognizing that. You know what they probably did on USC sideline? Someone up in the booth said, you had a cutback lane. Call that again. Tell the running back, look for the counter here. There it is. Untouched. Inexcusable. What do you do? And where's how is it this unsound? Like, how do you have two linebackers here between both Cole Sullivan and Bowles? They're both on top of each other, going to the same gap. Look where they end up. Going to the same place. Literally the same place. It just doesn't make sense. And then you have Eno Etta getting blown off the ball here on the play side, or I should say backside. That just creates a huge cavernous hole. But the linebacker play especially is where this issue is. It's not your job as Cole Sullivan to be reacting to that. It should be the play side linebacker's job to fill this gap. You are backside in case of this cutback. Just guys not doing their job. That's it. You have three guys essentially taking on this same gap. Three guys right here between your edge player and your two linebackers, and you have a safety coming down here. When you see this right here, this box of these defenders, these four guys are trying to cover the same effing gap. What are we doing? Doesn't make any sense. All right, last two offensive plays. I didn't cover any of the Jaden Daniels stuff or Jaden Davis stuff because that doesn't really matter. I'm not even really going to talk much about this. Happy feet, hesitation. This is just a one-on-one hell of a spin move by number 8. Just completely dominates Jake Garnera here. Just watch this. That tells where the pressure came from. Boom, spin move. You're done. I don't know. Let me look at 23. I mean, that's a failure in pass protection here from Jordan Marshall, right? Like, I get it. You're trying to chip number 1, but then he just falls over. So there you go. That's
your little teapot.
Yep.
Fifth me Yoda and pour me out.
All right, last one, because I said 2.5 hours and we're right at the mark. That's your 4th down. That's your last chance as an offense here. You're bringing a huge blitz. I don't know why you don't have Jordan Marshall, maybe because of the lack of pass protection here. So you bring Cutstall in, but he's late in getting over to address this blitz because you're showing this like amoeba look. So you recognize it a little bit late, not able to get over. A decent shot here from Bryce Underwood. He has to throw kind of off his back foot, off platform, and not able to step into the throw, and it's behind him. So can't really fault Bryce Underwood there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Jesus, man, that is the most brutal. This has been the most brutal film review that I feel like I've ever had to do for Michigan. Just
it was
absolutely
pretty bad,
gross. And again, offense, I'm okay with it. Like, I feel like there's enough opportunities where they could have made it work, and it just didn't. Defense was really bad. Defense was inexcusable. I don't know where you go from here. I'm kind of at a loss. Yeah,
that's why I've been quiet mostly. I've just been taking it all in. You got a tough opponent coming to your house. Big noon kickoff, Washington. They present, I would call them USC great value, Walmart brand. Like, they have a good quarterback that's a lot more mobile than the quarterback you just saw. They have some good receivers and tight ends that can stretch you. This is a defensive front that you're bigger than. You should be able to move out the way. We'll see what happens on Saturday. If this team loses to Washington on Saturday, I think there should be some real conversations being held in Ann Arbor, especially if you want to, go into this offseason with having confidence of keeping your quarterback. Because trust me, everybody's seeing the same thing we see. They see the kid has potential. Same thing with Marsh.
Yeah.
The NIL transfer portal has turned this into a retain your own player type thing. And if you're a player that's that good, you don't know if you want to stick around for that. So I'm not even going to give a prediction. I just hope that we win. Do you got anything else before we send them out?
No, man. I mean, Jed Fish at Washington, he is if anything else, he's a good game planner. I think he can take advantage of a poorly executed defense. So if there aren't some big adjustments and soul searching this week heading into Washington, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, and I think I'm with you that serious discussions will need to be had. So, I mean, beyond that, thank you guys for sticking through it. I know this is tough, but the benefit of this is you learn, and there's a lot to learn. There's a ton to learn, and we'll have a lot to evaluate next week on what growth happened, if at all.
Yep.
So it'll be very telling. Throw a like on the video, subscription to the channel. You see the banner on the bottom. You can join Maize and Blue Review for your first week for $1. You get a membership. Yes, you get a membership as well to a year of The Athletic. Great articles over there. So yeah, man. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I mean, it's what you say. I mean, go blue regardless, but
go blue, and thank you for all you do, man.
Yes,
look forward to you have a great time at the game. I look forward to your tweets. I'll be responding to them, and hopefully we have a better review session come Tuesday.
Hopefully, cross those fingers.
Go blue.
All right, go blue, guys.